me see if I
Can
can
we
find
just
it.
say is like waiting for LOTW?
Oh, I can see something is on the link. One viewer is probably me because I just clicked it.
Same here.
Her picture is over mine. They've now merged to become a singular World of Brickfilms entity. Dimensional merge is upon us.
Yeah, that all makes sense now.
I saw you laugh, but it's muted, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you can move it. Well, that's fancy.
Yeah, I've got the stream up on my TV. So
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Fancy.
A book is in the chat.
Fancy dancy. I got my nice iPad here.
Pen15 is in the chat, so shout out to them.
Was it?
Shout out to Mason who's saying Corey, and then whoa, it's the one dude.
He's referring to Pen15.
All right.
William, if you want to post the link to the new stream, actually, hold on, I can do that. I'll just put it in news.
Yeah, I guess we haven't exactly officially. We can do another official start introduction.
Should we do like
the new stream?
I was gonna say, should we do a reintroduction?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going like around like 5 minutes or something.
It says 7. What?
Yeah, for me it says 7, so we got people.
Yeah, so 7 for me too.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, during tech, everything runs so long to the point where it doesn't feel that major if you just have a hiccup and have to restart the stream. Like, anyone who's actually paying attention will find it, the new link.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm pretty sure William's audio is not coming through on the stream itself. We can hear it, but I don't think the viewers can. Aguilar says the audio is gone for everyone but Penta, although that may be because I talk the most.
Yeah, I just looked back to the stream and there's no audio for William.
You should be able to hear it now. I've just added OBS. I forgot to. I didn't realize I wasn't. I had the kind of like audio mix, so you could hear my computer's audio, which meant that like you can hear you guys, but you couldn't hear me. But now I see a waveform, so I think I should be. If chat can just confirm, should be able to. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I hear you now on mine.
And
yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna want to do the introduction again.
Yeah. That's what I do. Okay, so so welcome back, guys. Now we are properly back after some technical issues, as you just witnessed there. Now we are joined with a new guest, our next slot, Storm. No.
Hello. Yes, I'm Storm.
Also, films out of context on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, that's you?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Oh my
God! For a while, I was thinking,
realizing. Oh my God!
Who runs this account? I'd like to know.
I was wondering. I was
I
like,
found
I
it.
know it's someone like that I probably know, but I don't know
It wasn't
who.
me.
You were the one other mystery besides
It
the
was you
Brickfilm
all
News
along.
Network.
Yeah, one of the many. Because apparently there's
You're
like 3
BNN.
now.
Usually I'm thinking to myself, I know everything, so why don't I know this?
What caused you, or what got you to start that Twitter account?
I think it was 2019 I started it, and there was like that was like the resurgence, or like it came up in Twitter, and everybody had a out of context for like different shows and movies and different things like that. And I was like, why doesn't Brick Filming have one? And then I made one, and then at that point there was. It seemed like in the span of like a couple days, there was somebody else who had the same idea. I still don't know who the other one was, but there were 2 for a while, and then
Yeah,
mine just gained more popularity than that one, and now
Mm.
I
the
have
one
the
who
crown.
reigned supreme in the
I
end.
have the crown.
Does anyone
yeah.
else feel as if Twitter and brick filming aren't being? It feels to me as if younger people aren't making Twitter accounts anymore.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, it's like the place where ex-brick filmers post. I
That's what
I
it feels
used to
like.
find Twitter to be quite useful for actually reaching out to people who weren't already like on the BIM side of things in brick filming, and so I'd actually be able to establish contact with people. Now, I don't know, it just feels like I guess Twitter has just taken on this role of this like ultra horrible political battleground.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like young people don't want to make a Twitter account and they're all on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is more so these days Instagram. I mean, I know that like basically whenever I post, because I basically run the Bricks of Motion Twitter account and Instagram. Although I'm actually going to change that so that more people have access to it pretty soon. But every time I see notifications, basically from brick filmers who probably would say at least are 18 plus, I rarely have like, you know, accounts from 14, 15-year-olds. But, you know, when I go to post stuff on Instagram, there's, you know, a lot of younger brick filmers that are in the sphere that even we've been aware of like like Instagram brick filmers for a couple years, but like, and we've been saying like, you know, that's a, you know, a group of people who, you know, would be good to.
Oh,
Hello.
Well, you know,
sounded like a good answer.
it'd be good to like engage with and
I like where he was going.
There you go.
because well yeah like sort of as I was alluding to, like let's say in 2017 I feel like I managed to befriend a lot of quote unquote Instagram brick filmers and like superhero brick filmers. I sort of like broke down walls as far as trying to like, you know, portray Brick's emotion of like not being directly opposed to superhero brick films and stuff, and I think just by, you know, befriending people on Twitter is how I managed to make headway there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened. Just that. What was? I know. I agree, and I think it was. What was the last thing that I said before I crashed?
Yeah, you were talking about, yeah, on Twitter you see like mostly 18 plus people are, you know, responding to the posts, but then on Instagram you have something.
Yeah, in Instagram, it's you see more, you know, younger brick filmers, and there's a whole other side of Instagram that we've known about for the past couple of years, and said like, oh, you know, it'd be good to talk to reach out to them, basically say, hey, here's a good, you know, community hub if you want to, you know, because we, you know, a good place to learn and share your brick films. But like, it's just been like, there's something about it. It's just I've not been able to really be like. There is a bit of outreach, you know, you do see that more, but I feel like there's like there's a whole other side that just some reason is just I can't tap into it for whatever reason, or we can't. But
I've recently I've been, and you know, I've had Instagram and Twitter about the same amount of time between each other lately, and it never used to be like as big as this, but my Instagram's been popping. Like I've been posting a lot of reels, which probably has helped, and stories, but my reels have been getting like, you know, 100 views, hundreds of views, and then also like about 50, 60 likes sometimes, which is quite big for me. Whereas Twitter, I'm getting like 4 likes for most of the things I do,
Yeah.
and if I'm lucky.
Yeah, same thing.
I've always been a boomer when it comes to Instagram. I'm just like, no, I don't get it. Not for me.
You just hate
And
phones, so
yeah, I do kind of hate phones, and it's it's not. There's no like real desktop version that's proper. So yeah, but so I do have this feeling of like, yeah, I can tell that that's where a lot of the engagement and activity actually is. So I know I'm missing out on that, but I guess I just gotta cut my
I just
own.
think Instagram is the worst for posting videos. Like it's made for phones and it's vertical, and like most of the videos we want to post are not vertical. So it's basically just like I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a lot
It's
of
just
engagement.
annoying.
Other than just posting films, like people are always posting like, "Oh, I'm working on a brick film," and there's a picture or video of their set.
Yeah.
Then they got loads of engagement from that.
Another interesting place I'm starting to see is TikTok. I'm on TikTok.
Oh yeah, I
too,
see that a lot.
and I see a lot of people posting on there, just making new stuff for TikTok, and I've done that myself, and I've gotten a lot of traction from that, just making stuff specifically for TikTok and uh, basing it on trends and things like that. But even that doesn't really I still get likes every day, but I don't post that often.
Have you
And
observed? Is there any actual like community involvement there?
there are a lot of people that I see like on the Discord and on the Bricks in Motion website that I see on TikTok too. But then there are a lot of people that I've never heard of that are also on TikTok and make videos. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Do you do YouTube too? And it doesn't seem like they do. It seems like they go straight to TikTok.
See,
That's kinda weird.
I made Bricks in Motion has a TikTok that I haven't posted it on it in 2 years, but it was I think the last thing I posted was for Thack for I think it was 2020. It was either 2020 or 2021. But it was just like making a TikTok was the most tedious thing. It was just like
I had to
and it's
learn
weird.
all the dances.
I had to make an account.
No, I would love to do that. No, I wouldn't. But no, it was just like this really tedious process. It took me about an hour to do, which I was like, oh, it took me an hour to make this, but like I work on other videos that take a lot longer than an hour. I think it was just so tedious. I think at least at the time was writing out all the captions, but now it seems like it's auto-generated, so that might make it easier. So if we were to make more TikToks, I think it might be easier, but who knows?
Yeah. It is possible that we might just need to like hire some Zoomer. I say hire. I don't really mean hire, but like find some
Unpaid
true
intern.
No money.
Zoomer,
Sorry, no money.
true Zoomer who's actually interested.
Yes, no, genuinely. If there is someone, if there's a reputable Bricks in Motion member out there who would be willing to make some TikToks, maybe you can let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has their own individual strengths, and I feel like a good, Discord degenerate. So
That's
there's
fair.
definitely
That's
a place
fair.
for it.
Mod, yeah.
I can't do everything.
I kind of feel like
Except that.
this is just my kind of personal thing, and I don't really feel like it's necessarily even that connected to all the kind of latest. I don't know how much we want to get into this whole thing, but the whole stuff going on Twitter. But like, I feel like personally, I'm just kind of over Twitter just in general. I'm just quite happy to not really be
yeah.
on there much, and that's
I mean,
so.
everyone
Yeah, I
hates it.
getcha.
Yeah, it's like this thing like people unanimously seem to hate Twitter, but then also are just on Twitter.
Still on. Well,
It's like people say they hate Twitter, but then you just log back on Twitter.
yeah. I mean, I try to be very careful about being on there. Like, I try to mute keywords of things that people are always arguing about on there. I just don't want to see too much of that stuff every day,
I remember was it my first year on Twitter? I think I only made 10 or 15 tweets because I was worried like whatever I post will I get cancelled for, or there'll be like an argument or something like this about what I make. So like I made my account like during like the election thing with like Biden and everything. So I joined the worst time. So I couldn't really say anything on my account for ages. I was just watching like in the background. I couldn't say like I like this person, or like I like the decision of that president right there, or else I'd just be ridiculed, be blacklisted.
I mean, to be fair, you are Irish, so like, there is a component of somebody from a different country talking about like, yeah, the politics of the country they're not from, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Exactly, that's what we cancel for. It's like you're not from here.
Oh God, yeah, I know that.
Obviously, you can approach it in sort of you can approach it in a way of just observing what's going on, or like observing it in relation to a more widespread cultural trend. I guess
It kind of
just
there was some I don't know.
disregard that.
I mean, again, without really going too much into it, I think there's like since 2020, there's been so many things which just feel like they're just so all-encompassing that it's almost like every when you're not thinking about it, you're thinking about it when it's like when you're on the internet, you know? And it's just like it kind of feels like every time you tweet something, you're kind of almost thinking, am I supposed to kind of I don't know. Um, are people expecting me to write something about it, or if you know, or can I
Oh
just like
God, no!
yeah,
Yeah.
not have to do that?
I'm certainly opposed to the idea that you always have to let people know your opinion
What your
on
opinion
every
is.
topic that comes up.
Yeah, well, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
I think
I just
I've
feel like
grown out of that a little
I'm
bit.
kind of against it in a way because I just feel like people follow you because you're a brick filmer and you make brick films. They want to hear about the brick films you're making. They don't want to hear about
Well,
your latest thing on the going on. You know?
so that's certainly how I approach it. I really only post brick film related stuff and replies to the brick filmers. But I mean, I know that for plenty of people, their account is their personal account. Like it's just for them as a
Yeah.
person, and it's whatever they post is. If they posted it, then it's their themselves. So yeah.
I think the only thing I
Yeah.
don't post, like, besides brick filming, is just like the often movie review when like a big movie comes out. Then that's like mostly it. Then
Yeah, I Twitter, I don't even really post anymore. I think I used to just post it for like politics and movies. Like I did post a lot of politics, and it's interesting because
Some of them are bad.
Oh yeah, some of them were
so
bad.
maybe controversial.
Some of them, if you go back around 2016, maybe, some of those
Cursed
like
era.
cursed era, and I leave them up just because I'm like,
Yeah, I think it's a power move to point to yourself as an example of like you've
yeah.
grown from that. Yeah.
There are one or two old tweets that I have that I genuinely I've thought about like retweeting and being like, this is what I used to be like. Don't be like me back then.
I
And
don't
like
know if
genuinely try to
everyone
make a point out of it,
I
but
don't know if everyone will get this reference, but I love that Kyle Kalinske has left up his infamous tweet.
yes.
It's been like
man.
12 years.
He's hungry.
Yeah,
I had this. I
I-
think I had like one like ancient when when I was first on what was it called? First on Twitter. I got involved in this whole kind of like thread, and it was like and again it was like 2015. It was like a pretty kind of like a cursed era, and I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm quite happy just to kind of like delete some of these things, and I actually managed to go search by like date, and then I looked and I was like, almost every single person I was interacting with no longer has a Twitter account because they were removed. But you know, like
Feels
uh,
it weirdly feels like there hasn't been really any new big social media in years. Like
TikTok.
and TikTok's the big
TikTok.
one, but even then that was what, like 2017 maybe?
It was before that because
Well,
it was
it
music.
I think it was
didn't
like
and then it got
exist.
turned
I
into
remember
like,
it existed like as musically before
Yeah.
that, but even then it didn't
yeah.
blow up in the way and
Like
transform
the
something it did until
culture
about what,
changing
2017?
size.
Like 2017 maybe.
Yeah. Even then that just feels like too long. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was 2017 when like hit or miss was a meme?
I think it
That was
was.
like 2016.
No, I
I
remember like
think.
what was
No, it
that
was
old
later
box
than that. That was at
one?
least 28 or 2018 or
No
2019.
way, it's that old.
Maybe.
I gotta look this up.
Or maybe we're just getting old. Like
Because to me, that
I just
still
remember like the
feels like
Overwatch audio
relatively
trending. Like
recent.
maybe I'll betray sir.
hit or miss. What
Yeah.
Oh
I
God.
was
Oh, it's 2018. Okay, it's not that old. Okay.
what was that?
Suddenly,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
feel quite as
Yeah.
old.
That's still 5 years old. Like
Wait,
you're
what?
2023
Don't ask me
now.
how I know that.
Can you remember? Can you remind me what that is? Because I'll
Hit or miss. You don't remember that? I think we
Who
still have
wants
an
to
emote
sing
of
it
that in
right
our
now?
Discord.
It
Let me pull it up
depends.
on
I don't want someone to like
video.
clip this on stream and then like see it on like Instagram or something like that tomorrow morning.
It's gonna be on
Had to
TikTok.
get the outfit.
oh god,
Let me
yeah,
just head to
yeah,
my
yeah.
closet real quick.
Isn't that actually what started the OK Boomer thing?
I think it did.
Is that
Around
the
that
same
time,
one?
yeah.
I don't
I think
remember.
it happened in
It
2018
was a
or 19.
different
I'm pretty
video.
sure.
It was a different person.
OK Boomer was around before the video that blew up around it, but that was different. That was separate.
Oh, okay.
They just give off the same vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK Boomer is definitely a 2019 thing, isn't it? Because that
I
was
think
like
so.
unavoidable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I say
when I was in
2019
uni,
because I remember like, a bunch of shows and everything started saying it 2020 out of nowhere, and it just felt weird, like seeing like shows being more like, okay, BMA.
yeah, it was I remember because I was like,
TV
it
will
was
do it.
like the whole thing. It was like, it's just like people just would not stop saying it in college in that year.
Hmm.
But we must introduce Jaguar, who has joined.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Speaking of boomers, here's a zoomer.
Ignore me, don't worry.
Certified,
the
not
new-
a boomer.
The
Exactly.
newest Bricks and Motion staff
Quite the
member,
opposite.
certified Zoomer.
I'm assuming
Welcome.
the youngest as well.
I think you're a bit quiet.
But
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to adjust that.
I mean, you're sounding clear enough, but yeah, a bit quiet. I mean, I can
How does
turn
this
you
sound?
up.
Is this better? 200%. Is that better?
That is.
Yeah.
Did anyone
sounds
ever
good.
hear the actual backstory behind the hit or miss song, like why it was made?
Actually, no,
We
I had
really
no
wanna
idea. I thought it was
know.
just like someone was like, let me sync this song real quick, we'll cool down. I thought that's what the whole thing was. I didn't know it was like a lore behind it.
The short
I don't-
version, really quick. It's funny. Basically, like, it was just this weird rap duo online, and somebody made a fake image that made it look like Mia Khalifa was talking bad about them. Then they made this diss track on Mia Khalifa. It was just based on a complete fabrication that was intended to be a joke. That's why they made the song.
You gotta have more
Oh,
Brickfilm
okay.
beefs.
Didn't want to know.
Even better. Not only do I not know the story, I don't know what meme you're referring to. I've never heard
Oh
of
my
this
god.
meme.
My God.
We're just talking about how we suddenly weren't feeling that old, and
He was born
I have
yesterday.
no idea what this meme is.
Can this somehow get added to the Brickfilm iceberg next year or this year?
We'll put it in the stream highlights video, or we probably won't put it in the stream highlights video.
I'm gonna be pretty honest. I wasn't expecting us to mention Mia Khalifa on the What a Brickfilms podcast.
Yeah, I was hoping to move
I was
past
not
that.
expecting to mention like 2017.
I was hoping we could not refer to that again.
It's a good story though. Sometimes you got to find the balance between if it's a funny
It was
story
really
and if it's
interesting.
Oh.
shouldn't tell it.
It's okay just to say a name.
The
it's
more
fine.
you know.
So what are you up to, Jaguar?
Working on my THAC video currently.
Yeah, how's
Oh,
it
nice.
going?
Same here.
It's I'm not as far along as I would hope at this point, but
It'd be like that.
Yeah, same here. I think I'm only like 10 seconds in, and my whole thing was meant to be around like I think 2 minutes.
well, I made the mistake of having it's gonna have like 4 sets, which I know is like breaking rule number 1. But
Yeah.
there's only like a couple
That is
shots
outrageous.
there's only a couple shots with the other 2 shots, sets, and one of them is a miniature, so I think it should be fine.
Mm.
Yeah, certainly one of the pro tips is less sets for TAC, the better.
Yeah, I know, and that's what
Yeah,
I've done
like
every
more
other
simple
year.
sets, the better. Like for animating and trying to get
Oh,
them done
oh,
quicker.
they're simple. One of them is just like shrubbery pieces put on a green ground. That's what
Yeah.
I'm working with right now. But
You know what? Like
To
I
me,
said,
a shrubbery.
the last the first time in like I can think of in recent memory where I've actually stuck to the idea of like having one set was when I did Time for Pi for Brawl last year, because so often
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember
ev-
that.
That's a good one.
oh
Good
thanks, yeah,
shout.
every kind of like time usually when I do Brawl, I'm like, yeah, well, 80% of it is going to happen in this one set, and then there's going to be like a small scene in this set, and there's going to be a small scene in this set, and each set is going to be like this detailed thing, and I just think, why did I do this to myself? But then like Time for Pi was the first time like for ages where I just like really stripped down just this one location, and it's like I think it
Yeah.
ends up being better for it actually in the end.
I thought so
Yeah.
anyway. I thought it was really good.
Thanks, yeah.
Yeah, for last THAC I just had I only had one actual set, which was the house. And then I just used a modular for the one scene where the main character was outside. And then the other ones was like the background was out of focus, so it was just like a gray wall or something. And then I just had the main character lying on a green base plate. for like one
Definitely
shot.
looking forward to what you make for tech, because I mean, yeah, your stuff has been looking great now for a long time, relatively
thank
long
you.
time. Yeah, and I think we were working on the rewind video, and we were saying that like, oh, we got to get something by Jaguar in there, because like, yeah, he's really going hard on stuff that'll pop visually in a rewind, and of course we're making the rewind video. We've tried to find a balance between like giving. We want to give people a spot, like specifically because they're engaged on BIM, So we gotta find a balance between just representing everything like as wide as possible, but also as like, because this is a BIM video, as BIM as possible.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately,
honestly,
we weren't
I can't
able
remember.
to.
Did we actually put a clip from you in there?
I tried to. I genuinely did. It was just one of those things where, because I basically tried to have every single clip match cut to another one, and it just didn't end up working. And there were like 3 or 4 others that I literally had on the timeline. 3 or 4 that I had on the timeline, just wanting to include the entire time, and then just ended up
Yeah, there
not
were
working.
a small
Reminds me of
handful
Oscar subs.
we were saying like this has to go in the rewind video, but then just didn't fit when because like everything is made to match what's around it. And
That's my intention was and I think that this is true, that pretty much everything in that rewind video has whether it be one of my favorite things I've ever seen is I was seeing behind the scenes of Mad. This is completely random, but it fits. Mad Max Fury Road. They said George Miller, why the action scenes are so great is because with every single shot that when they match into the other, it's your eye line, where your eye goes, it flows from one to the next. Where the thing that you're looking at will, where it ends, the subject ends at the end of one shot, the subject of the next shot begins at that point, and then it moves somewhere else. So it flows and it's seamless, and that's more or less what I tried to do with it. Even if it wasn't 100% perfect, like pretty much it flows from one to the next.
You don't want to.
I don't know.
Kind of be in a position where I think, especially when you've got short shots, where like you're going from like you're looking at the left and you're looking at the right, and it's a bit too, because that can be quite confusing to your eyes when you've got this nice kind of like directional. Your eyes are being guided to the point, and it really kind of makes it feel like it's some sort of almost like a piece of music that's kind of flowing.
Exactly, it's very nice for it to feel like an engaging video in its own right. That's actually entertaining to watch.
That's
the edit and the sync of the music.
Yeah,
that's the worst when I see montages like that are literally just like just a shot of a brick film there, and then like there's no rhyme or reason to it, so it's literally just like it's just a montage of just like, oh, you just slapped an in and out point in a,
and it's
in
like
a brick film and
himself, go.
added it to the timeline. Yeah,
all of the shots are good, but yeah, as a new piece, there's nothing additional going. Like if it's just good shots one after the next,
it has to have its own narrative and its own transformative nature to it, as opposed to just a slapdash clip show.
Do you know what? It kind of reminds me a bit of like we had this discussion earlier on music about sampling, and like how some songs will, like some samples will just be like they just taken the the famous bit from the song and just like not done anything creative with it, like whereas like I feel like it's similar to that in a way, where it's like I feel like if you're really doing something creative with with like these films, it's like you're giving a new experience and transforming it into something new in a way.
Hazel says literally a break too many highlights. Or roasted.
Oh Lord.
I was gonna say,
I don't know.
It's slightly different to rather egregious sampling, because with the with highlights videos are presented as highlights videos. It is presented as this is a montage of good shots from other people.
I made all these clips, but
I want to say about Jaguar, it's always really nice on Bricks in Motion to see people who stick around and enter the contests multiple times. It's always great when you see somebody who starts rising up the rankings contest after contest. I love that.
Yeah, it's
in that space at the moment.
I'm kind of in a weird spot because like I am extremely self-critical of like everything. So
Yeah.
I find it hard to. It's been hard to like accept any of my old work, like from like a month
Yeah.
ago.
I mean, I
But
wouldn't be surprised if basically every big filmer struggles with that at some point.
Everybody
and,
thinks that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
but
everyone has that like little thought in their heads.
I think
Well,
it
like,
has. It's
I
been very nice that
I think I
like to
sorry.
get that to get that like acceptance of actually
Yeah.
placing in a contest. It's
Oh
like
right, yeah. So
it's like
nice
when
to
I
be.
placed in THAC. It's like I remember when I finished that video. I know this is part of THAC, but like by the time I finished it and submitted, I actually thought it was like genuinely terrible, and I couldn't look at any
Yeah.
like a second of it.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know
like,
those
this
people.
is
For
the
sure.
worst thing
Yeah.
I've ever made. And then when when all the comments started flooding in, I was like, I watched it again. I was like, you know what? This is not actually the worst thing I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It's nice, yeah. But that is something I always
Yeah.
try to tell people is that everyone goes through that where, yeah, like we had one I made that placed. Like I thought it's too bad. I can't even release it. It's just that bad. Like I don't want to look at it. But then it actually placed. But yeah, no, I think everybody does struggle with that. And I'm not sure if there's any like good singular piece of advice. I think it's your perspective just kind of evolves over time, and how you look at things and relate to things and things that you've made yourself. I do kind of feel like I sort of I like telling stories that relate to individual people when they're around. And there was one, well, I don't know, did you place 20th in Attack a couple of years ago? Is that right?
That was last year, I think.
yeah, it was
Is it only that recent?
Act 2022.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
last
Wow.
act.
Seems
The
like
story,
a while ago, but
the story that I wanted to say about that was that obviously it's always extremely contentious around the judging, like what's gonna just make it on that portion of the list, and because obviously if you add in one thing, then something gets kicked off. You're talking about that portion. The list was basically finalized. Yours was 21st. Then at some point we were like, hey, can we take another look at Jaguars? Like, I think that one was actually really good, and I'd like to see it actually place, rather than just be 21st. Like, and I know that of course then you're kicking out something else to be 21st, but I was like, so some of us were like, we need to take another look at this because I'd love for this one to be on there. And then when it was announced with yours on there, I remember you were active in the Discord, and like we could tell you were actually really happy that you made it on the ranking, and we were like, oh, it's actually so nice. Like we're so happy that we just put you on there and that you're like this active and clearly means something to you.
Yeah, and for the record, I do want to say like we're not going to be biased and like favored and like
No.
the 20th place was 100% earned for the record. It's not just like, oh, if you're more active, you're more likely to win. Like
I mean, I'm only talking about after we'd already announced the results. We were like,
yes,
oh, this is cool. He's right here, and he's obviously happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the extra icing on the cake. But again, it was 100% deserved.
Obviously, we never try to get somebody on just because they're more active or whatever. But
yeah,
if it ends up nice after the fact, then it just feels nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I think that there was.
I was.
What were you gonna say, Jaguar there?
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, I was actually so ecstatic about that, and it was just like genuinely shocking for me, especially with it being like the first one announced. I was like, you know what, my video's like, it's pretty good, but I don't think it's gonna place with all these other entries. And then the first one, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. We could just tell. We were like, wow, this guy really seems happy, like to have made it, like genuinely. Sometimes you can just tell. Also, it's also really bad if ever you can tell that somebody's genuinely disappointed to have not made it. There was one in a contest. There was one in the contest where we only announced the top 10, and there was somebody who was in the chat who was obviously hoping to make it, and like you could just tell by all their messages that they were so disappointed that they hadn't made it. And I just went into the DMs and I was like, okay, look, we usually don't tell people anything beyond the top 10, but you were 11th. It was true. Like this person was 11th.
Yeah.
I was like, look, just so you know, like you were 11th, and I'm not lying to you.
Yeah.
There's so many people that say like, oh,
I just felt really bad that they were obviously disappointed.
Yeah. And that's that scene that sometimes in Brickfilms.
I feel like yeah, that sense though of like feeling having that kind of like almost roller coaster of like emotional like feeling with like your own work is something that like I think we all kind of do feel to a certain extent. And I have felt that with a lot of my films, like when I was doing Time for Pie, I hated it when I saw I the whole time I was really enjoying it. I thought this was working out. And then I got to the edit and it was just like this is oh my god, this is just not good. This is just a bad film. And I literally just had to like cut out a couple of like pauses, get rid of some sound design which didn't mesh with the kind of tone, and suddenly
Sometimes
it works.
sometimes to me, making a brick film feels like you make a whole load of awful crap and then like save it later on. Like somehow you manage to string it together in editing, and suddenly it doesn't look like the worst crap ever anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I made like a parody on the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special because I needed something to do for like a quick Christmas video. Then like after I watched it, I thought it was like very good, so I just like wrote like a quick script down. And I remember like it was like 2 weeks of Christmas. I was like, oh yeah, I'll make this. But I remember like looking back and like animating, I was like, I really wish I changed the script a lot, or like I'm not like enjoying the most of what I'm animating right now. And then
That's
I edited, I think, till 4 in the morning Christmas Eve to try and get it all done, which no, I did. But like next year, I need like, well, I guess this year, next year, but I definitely need like try and be a bit more creative, or like try and do something like I'm more passionate about for a Christmas special.
Yeah, I mean, certainly making stuff tight as possible, I've tried to gravitate towards over the years. But
Yeah.
it
it's
was good
actually
if you,
kind
if
of
you if you think about that before you've released it. That's good.
yeah.
I've kind of not to keep going on about myself, but
Oh, it's grand.
Now it's fine.
I've kind of been like I genuinely think every video I released last year was better than the last one.
Oh yeah.
Except
That's a good
for
thing to have.
except for my brawl entry. I'm not actually very happy with that one anymore. I remember because, it's the first brawl after the first time I'd ever placed anything. I was kind of like, maybe I'll place again, maybe I'll place higher. And I didn't place. And then it got me thinking, I was like, yeah, I'm not in like a super self-doubty kind of way, but like, I'm not actually that happy with how that one turned out.
Well, that really relates to tech. I'd say everyone has had the experience. Well, okay, no, I shouldn't say everyone. Everyone who's made a couple of tech entries and some of them have placed, has had this experience where I think it's, unless you're like extremely, extremely good, it's very hard to make a tech entry and just like always nail it every time and make something that'll place every time, because sometimes the idea that you land on, and you only have 24 hours, so you can't really refine it. It's just not as good. So like, yeah, I think everyone has had that experience where they've made one that placed, and then the next year comes along, and you're like, oh, I wonder if I'll be able to make another one that places. And it just so happens that whatever you landed on, it just doesn't hit the same, doesn't hit as hard, and it's like, oh well, that one didn't place, but it's like that's just tech for you. Tech is such a roller coaster.
I think
Or brawl.
Yeah.
Oh, got
Hello.
James in crazy loud.
Heyo.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
We have the winner of last
The
year's
winner of
tag.
last
Yep.
year's
Yeah.
tag, wow.
Right here.
King
Dude, look
himself.
perfectly fine.
Still
Martin
relevant.
I'm
What
glad
a nasty
y'all like
little
that
man.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me turn up my audio a little bit. It's a little quiet.
That's it. Relating to something we were just talking about, obviously last year we were slightly concerned, like we were sort of saying, oh, if we pick Chihuahua as the winner, people are going to think like, oh, you just picked him because you like him and he's always your Discord was like, no, we just liked that film the best. It was just so good.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yes.
have wanted you guys to pick me just because we're friends or whatever. It's because I wanted the film to stand on its own, and I'm very happy with how that one turned out, considering I had kind of a late start that day on my entry.
That was incredible.
I think it goes back to what we always say. What makes it good, whether it be Thack or brawl entry, is just cohesiveness in terms of writing, in terms of set design, and sort of concepts. Like everything just gels together, and yeah, I think that's ultimately what my answer is for when people ask like, oh, what's the best Like someone earlier today was asking, what's more important, animation or story? I mean, I do believe probably story is a little bit weighted a little bit more, but but the ultimate answer is it's both tied together.
Yeah,
If you
it's
can
the
if you
film.
can
Yep.
if you can marry your film and animation in a very specific, not specific, but if you can marry the film to the animation and have it kind of gel together in terms of like a unified vision, that's the thing that's gonna get you.
Yeah, and that's something I'm still working on because, like, when I think of like come up with ideas for new projects, I'm always attracted to the animation aspect at first. That's always the most appealing part to me. But if I don't come up with some sort of like story to hang it on that's like worthwhile, then like nobody's gonna like
Hmm.
it's gonna be forgettable, or people aren't gonna at the end of the day care about it too much. So
Yeah.
it's always nice when I can get those two things to work together.
I do have to say that I
yeah.
do love the fact that you made that one in what, like 13 hours and then just went to bed.
Yeah.
You know, for the longest time I've thought basically, you know, oh, if you want to actually place really high in tech, you're gonna have to stay up 24 hours. But you proved that no, if you have your vision, your tone, you know, your artistic or comedic voice, yeah, you
Yeah.
don't have to
Um,
kill yourself to make an entry.
Exactly, yeah. It's like not to play the boomer card, but I am getting a little older now. I'm 33, and it's like the idea, it's never really appealed to me, but the idea of staying up a full 24 hours to make a brick film isn't super appealing to me anymore. But yeah, I think I had started kind of like noodling around with ideas and set design in the morning. In the afternoon, I kind of finished up the story and reached out to some voice actors like Chris here. And then I think I didn't get started on anime until like late afternoon, like maybe around 3 or 4 p.m. And then I managed to finish it like right under the water. Like, hey, there's my dog. Like maybe 30 minutes before the deadline or so. So like close to 1 a.m. So it's still kind of a late night for me, but managed to get it all done. And yeah, seemed to have worked out.
Mm.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a very late one for me.
Oh,
Same here from the
Yeah.
first one.
I'm
See,
working
you
on one
managed
too.
to make it somehow, but like I think a lot of other people basically like have to take the whole 24 hours. My girlfriend, she
yeah,
literally was like,
for sure.
"Are you gonna be like doing it for the whole 24 hours?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll be up until 7 a.m." Although
Basically.
I dropped out basically, so I'm not going to be
Rip.
up.
I was just gonna say, what are you doing here on this call instead of making your entry?
Are you not
I don't think I
animating
guess
right
my
now?
mic wasn't
Do
going
not
earlier, but yeah, no,
believe.
I sadly I built this
Oh,
nice little set, but alas, my entry will not. I think literally I had a shot list and everything, and then I started. There's a character, or there's supposed to be a character in the mechanic guy in the car, and then I started animating and trying to move his head, and
No.
like with the finger, I was like, nope, I'm not. This is not gonna work. And then I think that I realized, like, hey, I've been a little bit like, this is probably too much for me to handle anyway. And then I think that just was like, you know what?
Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel
Immediately,
like if you're starting to think it's too much for you, you definitely shouldn't like overexert yourself, and then you'll be all burnt out and
Don't pressure yourself to make it.
Yeah. Well, and
yeah,
also like I literally have not animated since it was the Brickfilm rewind of 2021. So I have not animated since then, and
jeez.
it's my a new setup in my apartment and everything it just didn't fall into place. And honestly, maybe this is just me getting older, but literally I was just like, I would rather sit on this podcast and talk than work on my entry. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm good.
That's kind of
Honestly,
where
I
I
love
felt today. I did come up with like an idea for an entry this morning when I was walking to the store and back, but it's like I think it was a funny idea, but I don't think it was like strong enough to be a
Stack worthy.
good entry. Yeah, and yeah, it's like one of those days where it's like I'd rather just chill and not overexert myself and
Yeah.
just, hang out for a bit. So
I'm
if I
sure-
could
have
just
been-
do that,
I'm sure
I've
you've
got
got
that feeling of
yeah.
it's great to have been around for a long time, and I can just show up in like the Manifest 2 announcement video, and I'm going to show up in the okay, spoilers, but I'm going to show up in the Brick Film Day rewind video. So it's like I keep appearing in things, and I've barely even made any Brick Films within the year. So this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you think I feel? I haven't put out a full brick film in 2 years now, so
Wow.
I think we're coming
Oh,
up.
wait.
Like it's been a
Yeah.
year since me. I think
I'd say
Mountain
you should
Manlet
probably
was my
start.
last one.
I
think
make one, I
we
think, at
all-
least once a month.
Oh,
That-
nice,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, you're on that
Imagine.
grind. You're on that. Yeah.
he's on the
I'm on
grind.
that
Yeah.
grind. Like
Grind
the
set.
Yeah.
after school anime all night grind.
I remember getting super bummed out years ago when I went like 4 months without an upload on my channel, and now it's like, whatever. If
the
I make
longest
something,
for
I'll
me
make
was
something.
2 months.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
a
not
lot of people
bad.
have that grind early on, and then you've secured your spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to
Like,
say
I
to Chris,
remember-
you might want to start thinking about videos in different terms, because I feel like we all have this idea where since we were kids of like, oh, we have to have a brick film on our channel every so often. But like, you did make half of the iceberg video.
True. I mean, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
in terms of brick films, but yeah, because I still want to make brick films. It's just and
Yeah.
I feel bad because like the idea that I had for this, I genuinely like it was very specifically could only be done in brick film form, and I really love the idea, but I unfortunately it's not going to work out. But
You
Unless
can
you make
still
it
make
super
it at a later
stylized,
point.
just
It is
two
weird
frame
though.
guy in a
Right.
car.
yeah,
It is weird how
Um,
like our perception of like the amount of stuff that we make is because like I kind of feel like for me it's really weird how like 2022 it feels like I didn't make a lot of stuff but then I did like I did I made like
You
5
actually
brick
go back and
films.
count it all up.
Yeah, and it's weird because like 2021 I made literally like one film, at least one brick film. That was the Track Attract, and it was like it's weird how like both 2021 and 2022 feel kind of like if I didn't know it feels like I've made about the same amount of content in in those 2 years, but yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I would say that I'm current, or at least for 2022, I was definitely on the grind, like a different kind of grind, like the growth in quality grind,
Yeah,
and
It's a
that's
good
why,
grind.
it's
yeah,
good. Yeah.
like that's why in 2023 I'm okay with like making less, because it's like I'm getting to a level where I can make stuff and say that's pretty good.
what was the
My
biggest lesson you think you learned?
my
Ooh, that's a good one.
don't be lazy.
Hmm.
Like that's, I mean, I'm still learning that. Like
Hmm.
even
I'm
when
still learning
like
brick
my
filming.
like my last couple videos, like my Christmas video and my manifest video, I think they look good visually, but I kept getting lazy in the animation department. Like if you actually look at them, there's not enough actual animation, which this is probably a bad time to be doing it, but that's something I'm trying to fix with my second video.
But
Have
yeah,
more animation.
I like to tell people that the tech is more like a contest where the goal, like the challenge of it, is to find how to do as little animation as possible.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just something I've been trying to get over, so I'm trying to force myself to.
I
I
think
mean, I
that
think ultimately, it seems like that's just like it's, you're talking about, but I was working on the visuals, but not the animation. I think that's just part of the journey is that you realize like, oh, like there's this one specific aspect that I want to work on, and then you work on that, and then you realize, oh, well, maybe I was lacking this other department, and then you just kind of it's you're just adding a different skill to your your toolbox, and then as you move forward, you combine them, and then it all comes together in the end.
I
I think
think
we've
like
said before that it is a good idea to sort of have in mind like one aspect to actually focus on to
Yeah.
improve with each project for a while.
that's what I've tried to for good couple of years. That was kind of my approach. I felt like around the time that I was doing Wayward Tides, which was the first time I'd made something that I was genuinely really proud of, like because it was like first time I got like in the top 10 at a contest, and I was like I've really felt that meant so much to me at that time, and it kind of got to me kind of thinking to myself like I really need to push myself way more if I want to continue to be to be on those lists, and also just for myself and wanting to kind of like I don't know, it just like I felt as though I wanted to adopt this idea of being every book film I make, like you're just saying, Sean, like I want to learn something new, and also I want to kind of do things that I know are going to be really, really challenging, and like so say,
Yeah.
I'm not going to even think about how difficult it's going to be. I'm going to do it in some way, and that's
Goes
really
back to
just
what
how
we were
you
saying
do
about
it. Yeah.
it's still nice to see people who show up and like want to continue placing in the BIM contests, like rather than being motivated by views more so. Like it's nice because I feel like the BIM contests do, if people get on that track, that train of thought, it pushes people to improve their craft, make more interesting films.
And
so it's always nice that people are still showing up and landing on that track. Yeah. I guess it was kind of the way it worked in the old days, and I've always worried that it would just not occur again. I mean, I worried it would stop occurring, like just sort of dwindle out, but it's still going.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like videos I make for BIM contests do actually do a lot better than my normal videos. Like my most viewed
we do
video
always
from
say
last
that
year
entering
was
contests,
my back entry.
It is actually a benefit to people being in the playlist.
Yeah, it
and
does.
being in all the related videos of all the other tech entries that come out the same day. Yeah, you actually do get
it does,
in
yeah.
views.
So for the people who are still who are on track to enter THAC, is there anything about your entry you can talk about if you would like to, or are you gonna keep it all secret?
I want to say one funny thing about mine, but like, it might be based off of a pretty well-known game that got very popular during 2020.
It's a bit sus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good man.
You sussy backer.
Yes.
It's really funny how long Among Us has stayed around, like as a meme.
Yeah.
Like
Doesn't
memes
matter.
normally...
Oh, sorry, you go first.
Oh no,
I think it's stayed around longer than as a meme than it is like an actual game that people play.
Yeah, I was about to say nobody's playing the game really anymore.
It's like entered our common like vernacular as like shorthand for someone being suspicious, and
well, isn't that
the whole
what
memes and
really
stuff.
means?
But
the terminology existed before the game, though. But
but
that's
like
why it's
not. It's never been like this widespread, I would say.
The only person playing Among Us is Benoit Blanc.
And me.
No, that was so funny. Like
it
was funny on a.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was funny in the film, like for a couple seconds, as it was intended to be funny, and then it was also funny, like afterwards.
Because of how outdated it was already.
Yeah, it's so outdated. Yeah.
Like I was dying laughing on the floor when that happened because like my friend was telling me Among Us was gonna be in it, and it took me off guard.
I think it was deliberately supposed to be kind of like, hey, 2020, everyone. Like it's by the time that the film came out, it's already kind of like the past, isn't it? You know.
Plus, the characters are already kind of like out of touch a little bit, I would say. So it would make sense to get late to it.
Out of everything, it could have been a lot worse. And I think it actually did play into his feelings of like isolation and out of touchness. So I liked it.
I should have added Benoit Blanc's skin into the actual Among Us game after the movie came out.
Yeah, I think it would have worked. That would have worked better for me if it wasn't spoiled, but it's still enjoyable. The last film appearance of Angela Lansbury as well. So is it an Among Us joke? Yeah,
it was actually I didn't know about that beforehand. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that. Yeah.
I also as well like this is why again going back around to Twitter. I am really glad that I'm not on Twitter much now because I didn't know I had nothing about A Glass Onion until I watched it. So then I managed to like not I wasn't spoiled on anything like that. So.
Yeah, Twitter's really bad about spoilers. I have had like
you have to mute the words
ruined.
And stuff when things start coming around.
Yeah, but I don't even know how to mute words, so I can't even be bothered.
Well, I wouldn't go on there if I didn't know about the muted
I
words
just
list.
unfollow people.
I
Yeah,
mute words
I
and then I
didn't wanna
forget to unmute them.
Yeah,
I-
and it's like, why is no one talking about this anymore? Wow.
true. Yeah,
Yeah, like
I think
a
I
few months
muted.
ago. A few months ago, I was like, looking through my thing, my like muted words, and I was like, oh wow, I still have Spider-Man muted under here. I still have Doctor Strange muted under here. I
That's
forgot to
funny.
mute
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Anytime new
Hey,
Marvel
how
comes, I
come
always have to mute the
nobody
words
Yeah,
at the
talks
top.
screw
about
Of the
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
anymore? I was
Oh
gonna
man,
say I
the whole
still have
Spider-Man
whole
debacle.
got so many Star Wars related terms muted because I was just sick of the back and forth about The Last Jedi. I was like, I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
care, I
yeah.
don't care, I
Oh,
don't care. Just mute Star Wars, mute Ryan Johnson, mute Mandalorian, mute every Star Wars keyword.
Oh god, it was so funny. The other day, James, you put a tweet up. It was like, I'm not going to get involved in the AI or Avatar 2 sort of debate. And I just,
Mhm.
I kind of went on there. It's like this is the first tweet I've seen in ages, and I've consciously not gone on here, and I'm so glad to like not know anything about what Avatar 2 uh the drama is, just don't know about it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Is
didn't
there
even
like
know
a
Best
that
to
was
keep it that
cartoon
way.
drama.
is there a yeah, what drama is it? Is it
It
like
was
cultural
just this
appropriation drama?
that stuff. It was like the same stuff we've heard like 10 years ago or so. Whenever the last movie came out, 15 years ago, right?
Yeah,
When did it come out?
2009.
14.
2009. Yeah,
14.
yeah. So it'd
Yeah.
be like 13 years or
Maybe
so.
13,
Yeah, yeah.
14.
So it's like I don't want to like go through this whole like all these topics again. So it's like I'm just not gonna touch it. But it is interesting because I think it's already surpassed Top Gun Maverick in terms of box office.
Yeah, it
But
did.
I've
Yeah.
somehow managed to avoid spoilers. I haven't seen it yet. I was planning on going maybe next week to go see it, but I
I just
remain
watched it
pretty
last
spoiler
night.
free. Yeah?
What was
How
it?
was it?
I watched. What was it? We had to leave like I think the last half an hour. We had to like leave the movie because like the bus like going back home was like leaving like in 8 minutes. So we had to like get out of the
Oh
cinema
no.
before we could finish it. And then like on the bus, my friend was trying to explain to me what happened the last few minutes because like he saw like the week before. So actually, wait, sorry, I was about to say what happened, but I'm not. I'm not going to accidentally spoil
Don't
Avatar
do
3
that.
or to anyone else watching this.
I kind of feel
Yeah,
like
Oh,
it's weird.
dude, I
overall,
would
good
hate to
movie,
leave
good
a
movie.
movie like with only 20 minutes to go. That'd be like, oh man.
Oh, I was very annoyed, but I was like wondering,
Yeah.
is you sure? Is there any other way? If it's like no, it was last bus. It's like fine.
I kind of
So
I was
like we had
about
like
to ask
out
you
of
like, hey,
seats.
where do you have to get a bus to in Ireland? But then I was like, we probably shouldn't talk about that on a stream. But
Alright, let me tell you where the bus has to go to in Ireland. By the way, in
Talk to yourself
Kildare.
now.
what I feel is funny as well with like one of the things I always find always quite sort of like um what's the word, kind of like just so um annoying, and just like I can't deal with I just can't be bothered with it, is whenever there's a film that's longer than 2 hours long and people go like, oh, I can't believe this is 2.5 hours long or 3 hours long. It's like, get over it, like,
Yeah, I'm just used to it.
No, I also kind of find it funny when people like celebrate when a movie's like 3 hours long. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
celebrate
Well,
if it's good, if it earns the runtime. I mean, I don't really
Yeah.
care what length your movie is if it's
As long as
good.
it's a good movie.
It was so funny
Like-
seeing people complain about the runtime of Venom 2. I was like,
Yeah, I was
guys,
shocked by
you
that.
want
People were like,
Venom
"It's too
2 to
short, you
be
guys."
longer than an hour and a half? Like,
No,
what's
that
wrong
movie
with
is
you?
the perfect length. That movie's like
Yeah,
the
I
perfect
think it
length.
was like
It's
well
fun
paced and
and it goes
everything.
by quickly, and then it's over, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
need to watch that
I
again.
find
But
what I find funny is like there are certain films where like, people will go kind of mad that like the Batman is nearly 3 hours long, but then
Mhm.
I thought it had a good length.
but then you've got like films like the what's it called, No Way Home, which is only like what, 20 minutes shorter than that, and then everyone's like pogging over like how amazing that is
Yeah.
without having to worry about the one time. So it's like, what's the difference at 20 minutes? Like
It's Spider-Man.
Well,
That's
you see, one had Andrew Garfield, the other one didn't.
That's a big difference.
one had Paul
Mhm.
Dano, so
I never
Oh,
doubted
touche. Okay, I can't. Oh, that's hard.
never doubted James Cameron. I was always like, yeah, James Cameron, he's gonna do it again. Just wait, you guys. He's gonna do it again. But I
Yep.
still don't know how he does it. Like,
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
it's
I
already
don't-
got more than Top Gun Maverick, and that
Like
was
he
Top Gun
hid
Maverick
in
was
the
in theaters
cave
for
for over
6
10
months.
years
It was
and
huge.
then came back out with like a whole Avatar franchise.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like I
it's
think general audiences aren't like don't have the Twitter brain poison that a lot of film circles have on, and it's like they're not irony poisoned as much. So it's like his films play really well to general audiences. Like I know like older people who like were very stoked to see that movie. It's like it has like it plays really well to wide audiences. So
I think people were just like I just thought like I mean and I feel like I've been hearing it for years at this point. I just thought it was just ridiculous to assume that Avatar 2 wasn't going to be a huge success. Like it was so obviously going to be to me.
I
Yeah,
found
the
it
fact
hard to
that it's like
predict.
the first film's like #1 box office hit, like it's
Yeah.
already gonna make a lot more money anyway.
yeah,
It's-
and these films have like legs as well, like very long legs, much like the avatars in the Navi. It's like it. I remember like the opening box office is really good, but it didn't like blow up quite yet, and then it kept like going and going and getting more
The
money,
momentum like
and
just
now
didn't
this
stop.
yeah, and now the second one is doing the same thing. It's just
Mm.
it's gonna
between
be playing for a while. So
between the word of mouth and the fact that people went to see Avatar 1 like 6 times in theaters, you know.
yeah.
I
Someone,
think it
like,
was a genius idea,
died.
like having it out like in December, because that means like people would go over in January then there's like burning like January releases, so more people would be more
Yeah.
likely to watch Avatar 2, because that's what happened with I think No Way Home as well, because it played during January.
But
I still found it very hard to
guys,
predict how well Avatar 2 would do like 13 years after the original. I always thought it was going to do well. I didn't think it was going to like set the world on fire again, even though it seems to actually be doing that. But yeah, I saw all these people on Twitter like flop, it's going to flop, it's going to flop, it's going to be, you know, biggest
I
box
get
office
that.
bomb of all time.
I
And was
have
just like,
some of those tweets bookmarked just so I could kind of revisit them and see if they're getting dunked on still.
yeah,
Yeah,
Just go back and
so
just say
funny.
like in the comments like
you're
ironic.
delusional in a
posts that don't
bubble,
age
yeah.
very well, as things there. Posts don't age well.
Yeah.
But like what I thing is though is like yeah, I mean you can say that about December, but aren't you excited to see M3 Jen or is it Megan? You know?
Yes.
Mathregan.
Oh, Megan!
I've heard it was
It's
pretty
Megan.
decent actually, so I'll probably check out when
Apparently
it
it's getting
drops
really
on
good
like
reviews.
HBO or whatever.
I've heard it was pretty decent.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard it got
I
I think a
can't be
90 on
bothered.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Hmm?
I just remember it got like a very high rating on like Rotten Tomatoes when it first came out.
Yeah, but Rotten Tomatoes is like so broken.
Which
Well,
part,
yeah.
part would you give
Interesting.
Paddington 2 on like 100%?
Paddington
but
2
Paddington 2
slaps
is-
though.
That's not
so-
the broken
Yeah, but
part.
Paddington 2 is good.
It is better than Godfather 2.
Well, I mean,
That's-
ultimately, it's, you have to
I need to
under,
watch
like.
Godfather 2.
I don't think
Need
the
to watch
site
it
itself is
all, though.
broken. It's just people assume that like two movies that both have 95% means they're of the same quality. You can have two
Yeah,
movies
exactly.
like well,
It's
you
rated
have
off
two
what
movies.
it is.
One where the average is, like on like a scale of 1 to 10, those average
Mhm.
ratings can be like an 8.5, and you can have a movie where everyone says, "Oh, it's like a 6 out of 10." Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
or
It's all
simultaneously,
relative. Yeah.
or simultaneously, you can have a movie that like is divided. It can be like, oh, it's at 60%, but like it can have an average rating that's like higher because people either love it or they hate it. So
Yeah.
it's all relative.
I
People
feel
don't
like-
actually
And it's-
understand what the Rotten Tomatoes percentage means.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's very
Yeah.
binary,
Maybe-
and like some of the reviews on there, like they could be completely middle of the road or lukewarm on the movie, and it could still count as a positive
Mm.
review, or
Mhm.
it could be pushed into negative, and it's like just the tomato score doesn't give you a proper idea of the critics' viewpoints, I suppose.
Also,
You know what?
throwing in ever since Last Jedi changed, like introduced the concept of like review bombing movies like that. It's
Mhm.
just like everything is awful now.
What I find
Was it
funny.
Last Jedi or the Ghostbusters reboot that introduced review bombing though?
Oh,
Because I
with
feel like
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters
Yeah.
It was probably
first.
Ghostbusters. Well, that
But
was
Last Jedi
Ghostbusters
took
was
it
the
to
YouTube
another
trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's
I remember
there's
that.
been lots of those like movies that everybody on YouTube makes a terrible review on, and
Mm.
What
I
I
don't know,
find
it-
funny.
yeah.
What I find
but-
funny though about like the whole, just discussing the way that Rotten Tomatoes works is that I just feel like this is just something that people have been talking about for years, but people still don't seem to get it. Like, I feel like people have been talking about the way that One Tomatoes works, and like, yeah, I mean, I've been hearing about it since like 2016, and yet people still seem to like not understand Rotten Tomatoes. It's like it's not really
I
that
guess it's just one of
complicated,
these
but
things where if you
Well,
just show someone a number, then that's it. It's over.
Well,
You
Yeah.
can't look
well,
past
to be
the number.
fair, is it more so that they don't understand it, or they're criticizing the system in which Rotten Tomatoes operates in? Most of the time, I think it's because they don't understand the number. But I think there probably are some people who are genuinely critical of the how Rotten Tomatoes operates.
I think people like sometimes think like the score they make like way too far and everything. Like, how dare they give it a 67? It should be an 85 and all this. Like, instead of making your own actual opinion on the movie.
Well, I do think that,
But
like,
Yeah.
people do
generally
get hung up
speaking,
on reviewers' final scores rather than listening
Yeah.
to the reviewers' actual talk.
I
and
think
point out
putting
what they thought.
scores on reviews is probably the worst thing to ever happen to online criticism or
It's like
criticism
how,
in
like,
general.
It's like how like when IGN releases like a review of something, a lot of people just skip to the very end to see the score instead of like hearing what they actually say about the thing, and then they all give out any comments about it and everything.
I do have a lot of
I'm guilty of that, except I just don't comment.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of respect for like Chris, the direction that Chris Stuckman's gone into. I think where he just kind of decided he doesn't really want to go into like the negative side of film, and he just wants to kind of like talk about the films he likes and not even like rate them publicly. I respect that a lot. I think.
I certainly get that if he's trying to be an actual filmmaker himself, he doesn't want to be talking badly about people's stuff. But I've always liked.
I feel like
I don't
you can
like
easily go on the like too far in that direction though, and like never give any constructive criticism.
Yeah, it just doesn't really want to say much of anything other than just here's a movie. You should go and support the movie industry by seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I have
nothing
mixed
wrong
feelings
with
about
saying
Chris Stuckman, but I do generally agree that making like a worst movie, the worst 10 worst movies of like blah 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 is like usually just clickbaity and doesn't really add much to the conversation. Although there's some channels where I do enjoy watching the worst of lists just because it's funny.
I
Anthony
hearing what they say about it.
I think Anthony Fantano is one of those sort of people that I enjoy watching, regardless of what my opinions are of like his reviews. I
agree. Where I think to myself, is this really constructive to make these worst of the year lists? This is not the way to go about it. But then I'll just go and watch them. Yeah.
As long as
I
you're
mean,
still
I'll
having
watch
fun
it.
with it and you're not actually getting like actively angry, then it's fine, I think.
There's a well-known sort of concept that like I think like generally Roger Ebert gets the credit for like popularizing it, and the idea that like a good review is like one where you can read it and know if you'll like or dislike the thing based on the review, based on what they say in it, like without them saying that it is bad or it is good.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why Ebert was one of my favorite critics, is that even if it's a movie you personally didn't like, his reviews can make you kind of look at it from a different perspective and kind of understand, I could now understand why certain people like that movie or not,
Yeah,
it just kind of makes you think about things in a different way.
Bad takes, but I still feel
like
I still even understand, like I can listen to them even if I don't agree. Like I've seen a lot of people dunking on him in more. I mean, I guess again in like the sort of Twitter verse, people are like, "Oh, Ebert's so bad," but I still respect his like viewpoint.
He did the cardinal sin of the internet, which is criticize video games.
Oh well, they criticize him for being correct. Yes.
So what you're saying is the thumbs up, thumbs down system that Ebert introduced is how we judge stack entries, right?
Yeah,
that's how we do it.
Exactly.
So you give every stack entry like a out of 10 score, I'm sure, or maybe out of 100 score if you want to be really like precise.
It's funny.
It just reminded me of this guy on the old Brickfilms forum who like he would review movies on like the 1 to 10 score, but he would add like decimals and stuff to it, and he'd get very exact. Like this movie had like maybe a 7.25 in the story. The cinematography, maybe it bordered on a 5.5 to 6.0 score, and then at the end he could bind his like he calculated his scores together to give you a final percentage, and it's like, this is completely meaningless.
I mean, that
Yeah.
literally was
That's
how we
jumping off
used
point
to.
for Tack, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what we used to do for that. Or that
No,
and
no,
Brawl.
that makes sense for like a judging system, but I'm talking about this guy would just review movies.
No,
that
I
way.
know.
What
I
we
know. I'm
found-
saying that's just ridiculous. Even in, well, you know, I will occasionally. I think what I used to do is in my mind be, and it's still, even now, I'll be like, oh, this is like a 7.2, 7.3 around there. Like I still even do that, but not to like 7.75. Like not that to that
Well,
degree. But yeah, no, we literally used to be like 9.6 for animation on like Thack and Brawl entries.
What we
so.
found is that judging films individually on different categories and then totaling up the average of your categories, it doesn't
Ridiculous.
reflect the films well. It makes for really bad results. Because I mean,
Yeah,
some
'cause it's-
films just end up being greater than the sum of their parts.
It's
they,
like-
they just
Yeah.
It's like some things is a bit like almost like, you know, giving like an algorithm the kind of calculated best thing. Like, you know, it's like
Yeah.
the film that kind of does things like everything fine is like the perfect film, but it's not, you know? Like
Yeah.
like
this,
I'm happy to see
this
like
is
a oh sorry, yeah.
no, go on.
I was just gonna say I'm quite happy to see, you know, a brick film, you know, occasional brick film like on Stack or whatever that like that is like it is kind of got, you know, maybe it's a bit unusual in terms of like it might be a slightly rough on the edges, but then like it can just have like some you know, it could do an element so well, like it could do a cinematography so well, it could do like the story so well, where it just feels like this deserves to be, you know, like in the top 10 or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like how I've thought about movies for, I don't know, the past like 6 months or something. But it's like a perfect movie for me is not like there's no such thing as like a perfect movie. You can always find
Yeah, exactly.
any nitpicks. But like for me, a perfect film would be something that is so amazing in so many ways that even if there's like, you know, there's little things that you can say, yeah, that could have done better. It's like it doesn't matter in the overall thing. Like the overall, the movie's incredible, and it's like my favorite movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, it all comes down to personal taste at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, you'll never get a movie that every single person will agree on it's great. It's going to get that one person like, yeah, but like this, like it could have been done like this part better and everything. They always have like that one person.
White.
Yeah. I always think though there's this kind of thing of like I don't know if you would kind of a lot of you guys kind of relate to this as well. Did you ever feel like you had a phase where you couldn't really tell if your opinions were being informed based on critics that you like you'd watch or your own like things? Because I had that for a good couple, you know, few couple of years. I'd be watching like all these reviews. I'd be watching Chris Stuckman and YMS and I'd be thinking like,
I
am
love
I
YMS.
just am I just thinking like am I just watching like, you know, like when I watch a film, I after watching that am I just like all my opinions just based on that? Are these like like
seeing
my
it
own
through that
thoughts?
lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it happens to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, when
I
I
was
was when I was younger, I've had a big problem with that is like being super influenced by critics or what other people think of things and not really forming my own opinion on it. Like either I would trash something that I've seen because other people are, or even if it's a film I was just kind of mid on, like I would say, "Oh, that film's great" or whatever, just because everyone else is praising it, and it didn't even connect for me. I just kind of didn't want to go against the flow a bit, but something I got better about. But once in a while, that still kind of creeps up in the back of my my mind, like,
I think
oh
you can
man,
still wonder if you're but I think I
Yeah.
sort of I want if I already know that I'm gonna be interested in seeing something,
Mhm.
I kind of won't seek out reviews or a lot of opinions beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I
Like,
was trying to
more-
avoid trailers to movies I actually like I know I
trailers.
already want to see. Like that's why I
Yeah.
just like Glass Onion. I tried to see like nothing from it before I watched it and I had a better time.
Yeah, it's probably
Like,
always
yeah.
more useful for if you watch reviews of ones that you don't know if you're gonna be interested in or you haven't heard of. That's probably more useful.
I think
Yeah,
there's like one film, what was it, the 3,000 Years of Longing. Like that's one of these sort of things. Like the poster looked really weird. I saw like one headline that said it was crazy, and that was it. I didn't want to see anything anymore. I was gonna watch it, and then I was seek out things afterwards, because I do like to seek out like reviews and stuff after watching something, because I just really love hearing like people discuss something that I've enjoyed or whatever. But that was just a great
Yeah.
experience, because I just didn't know anything about it other than like the cast or whatever, and that it was supposed to be a weird film, and I absolutely loved that experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nowadays, when I try to find stuff to watch, I usually look up a couple impressions and stuff of what people thought of it from like people I follow or whom I like. And if I'm getting good vibes off of it, I'll check it out and then deal with any of the fallout afterwards in case the internet decides they don't like it or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, I
yeah,
think I get
went-
it from
I
the
went
BIM
like
Discord and crew.
yeah.
I will
Yeah,
say that
that's
one of the films that I think it was just because it was just like unavoidable, and I was a bit late to watching it. But one of the films where I felt like I just didn't know quite how I felt about it afterwards, just because of being informed by like other things, was probably Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like I was hearing people say it was the best thing ever made, and I still kind of think to myself now, I gave it a 5 out of 5 and I watched it, but now I'm thinking, is it really that transformative? Like compared to like the way that people were talking about it, it's a good film, but it's not like,
That's
I
an
don't know,
interesting
like
one for me because
I think it is a good movie, but I think it was like very overhyped.
yeah.
I had
Like
a
when
sort of
people,
I had like the opposite reaction where everyone was saying it was 5 out of 5, like #1 on Letterboxd. It was for a while. I think I was
it was.
too built up, like expecting like, oh, it's literally rated the #1 movie of all time on Letterboxd. So then I was kind of like, I didn't think it was 5 out of 5 #1 movie of all time.
Well,
Yeah,
tell your
I
story.
haven't seen it. Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, there's a
No,
funny story
Penta,
behind that as well.
tell the
which is-
story behind watching it.
Yeah, so we saw everything everywhere all at once in Sweden, and
Oh
I
damn!
think it wasn't even in cinemas in Ireland. So I was like, oh wow, like I'm going to Sweden with the Brickfilmers, so I'll actually be able to see it. And like also it was like a super late showing, and I'd been on like up since early hours in the morning on 2 flights and all that. But so I was like
Also,
tired as well.
really quick. So it was me, and I had seen it. Sanjira had seen it, and Lucas and Penta had not seen it. So we were excited for Sanjira and I were so excited for them to see it. We're like, oh, it's gonna be great. And then
This is relevant because Lucas was the only one who was already in Sweden, hadn't seen it. So yeah, so we go to the super late showing in Sweden, and then it starts and it's in like Mandarin and there's Swedish subtitles. So then they all start looking at me like, oh no, Chris and Sanjira have already seen it and Lucas knows Swedish, but you're screwed.
so
Amazing.
like at least a quarter to a third of the movie, Penta just couldn't understand. Like
Lucas whispered the translation to me whenever the subtitles were on screen.
Oh,
It's only
man.
partially in Chinese, like it's mostly in English, and you can understand most of it just based on the visuals. But still, like the whole time throughout the entire movie, if there was a subtitle part, he'd be leaning over just doing.
yeah, just based on you were able to understand it. It does a pretty good job of context and but literally Sajir and I just looked at each other when we realized we were like, oh no, what have we
The moment was
done?
so funny. You could just see the two of them just deflate like.
Yeah.
I think that
I feel
when it
like
comes-
or
that
does that
first
make the movie
viewing
better?
could always color your like opinion of a movie too
Probably,
in some
yeah.
ways. Like a lot of people love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I had a bad theater experience, so I walked out of it just kind of like, what was that? Why did everyone love that so much? I've been meaning to give it another shot, but it's like, there's so many other things I'd rather be watching,
It's
than
easily
return to
my
that.
favorite MCU film.
That's what a lot of
Really?
people say, but it's just, I don't know.
It's funny
A lot of
for
people
me.
say that. I feel like that a lot
I
of
feel
people
like
say
with
it's kind of bad.
I feel like with a lot of like was it like the yeah, like with that, like Everything Everywhere Once, I kind of feel like a lot of it maybe stemmed from the fact that there's a lot of films coming out that have been sort of multiverse sort of based recently, and it was like the one film out of those that really gave like the majority of people that watched it what they wanted, really, because it's like it was like going all over the place. It was all these different. It was really kind of took advantage of the concept, and it didn't kind of just sort of like give you the idea and then just sort of like not do much with it, which is like what kind of Doctor Strange did. But I kind of
Plus, it
do
was
feel like
apparently good.
yeah, oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
think what was it? I know like the directors and the Daniels, they've been researching about the multiverse and everything. We had an idea for that movie since I think 2013.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
I
like
haven't
they're
seen
definitely
it. I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to see it at some point. I think it's good that I've waited this long because I've seen all the cycles of the criticism so far. Like, oh, this is one of the best movies ever made, and then the Twitter backlash began. Like, oh, this is so overrated. Ugh.
Mhm.
And then people fighting over the movie.
Backlash.
Yeah, and now I'm at a spot where it could go either way for me. Let's just see how
This
this
is just like the
turns out.
what I like to call the Matrix cycle, isn't it? This is the best film ever
Yeah,
made, and then it's like, no, it's not. It's actually bad, and then it's like, actually, it's good.
the latest Matrix movie.
actually there's a deeper
The
meaning you just
latest.
can't understand.
The original Matrix sequels went through like the opposite thing, where when they first came out, everyone said they were terrible, but then there was like,
Yeah.
oh, we got to reevaluate the Matrix sequels. They're actually genius. They're actually brilliant. Then
It's
everyone
like
was
with the
like,
Star Wars
okay,
prequels.
we'll go and watch them again.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, no, they're still not that good.
I do vouch for Matrix Reloaded. I do enjoy that film a lot. Still,
Yeah,
Is that the
I
second one?
I revisited all of them leading up to the new one.
I
And
only
yeah.
enjoyed the first one, whereas I thought were just
Yeah, the first one's a
I remember the second
masterpiece.
one
That
being
one's
okay.
like untouchable
I hear
for me.
that.
But
Yeah,
there's
Reloaded,
elements of the
there's
sequels I
parts in
enjoyed.
Reloaded. There's certain sections that are really good.
There's
I think
scenes I give it
Reloaded
10 out
is
of
the
10 to,
second one,
and there's
right?
scenes I give it 3 out of 10 to.
it's enjoyable enough, I think. Reloaded, like as like an action film, but then I think the third one is just.
It's the third one's so boring. It's like
That's where they lost me.
it was
completely,
torture to
yeah.
get through.
Yeah, it was like I forget everything leading up to the final fight at the end in the city and the mech battle. Like everything else is kind of a blur. But yeah, I do
Agree.
enjoy Reloaded overall. That was
I'm
actually the
gonna-
first R-rated movie I saw in theaters, so it's like
wow.
I have a bit of
Yeah.
a soft
Nice.
spot for that one.
I don't think I've
My first
ever
rated R
seen
was
one.
The Godfather when they brought that back out last year.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
I'm gonna duck
Yeah.
out to record voice acting while I
Okay.
still can.
Cool.
I'll turn off.
Yeah,
Duck out. Maybe that's code for Duck Song 2. Maybe it's a
Oh my
kind of
goodness.
collab there.
Don't you mean Duck Song? What
Duck Song
4 or
4?
whatever?
Is it? Have they
They
made
made a
more than
spin-off
one?
and a
There've been-
remaster.
there was at
and then
least
a
3.
live action.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
And
I've
then
seen
the
the live action one.
Rickroll
That was the
one.
most recent one I saw.
My favorite one is the Rickroll one. I'm not gonna lie.
You did a Rickroll one.
Yeah, it's.
I'll
Like a
take your word
perfect
for it.
recreation.
yeah.
No, it's. Like
I just remember a
perfect
couple of my
recreation
friends,
of
like,
Rickroll.
I remember a couple of friends, like, I think 8 years ago, like, quoting that in school, and they thought it was, like, the funniest thing that came out.
I never got the love for that video.
I
and
was just like,
song
I mean, the
personally.
song's
I
like,
just-
I was like, I mean, the song's kind of a bop, but I don't get why it's, like, got over, I think, 500 million views. That's, like, what shocked me the most out of it.
Are we talking
Yeah,
about Rickroll or Duck Song?
Duck
Yeah,
Song.
Duck Song.
Duck Song, not Rickroll. Rickroll is good, and I understand why it has like 1 billion views.
Yeah, like, I appreciate Rickroll more. Because, like, what it's done,
really,
like, in the meme industry and everything.
It's really weird with the Duck Song. It's like the someone that's sort of like that we sort of know, and it's like literally everyone you interact with knows it, and that's just like a weird thing.
Mm.
But it's like
I find it weird as well.
it's oh god, I remember a while back my niece was my niece and my sister were visiting at home, and I was out at the time because it was because they're with my mum, and I didn't realize that my TV was connected to my account on YouTube, and then I got back and after they'd left, and I looked at my YouTube channel, and it was just like hours and hours of the Duck Song. It was on my watch history, and I was like, no.
You know how
Yeah.
there's been a recent trend of taking like characters from like I don't know, kids cartoons or horror games and dropping them in like these weird like horror situations, I guess, like back rooms, like Five Nights
I
at
haven't seen
Freddy's in
that.
the back rooms or whatever. Do you think there's like they ever put like
The
the
duck
Duck Song
song
characters in one of those? Like the Duck Song guy is trapped in
Oh my gosh.
the back room of Siren Head, you know, just like complete nonsense.
Calling
That'd
the
be
duck
nice.
from Duck Song at 3 a.m. Not clickbait.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but have you ever seen
Real.
those those videos like the oh, I forgot what he's called. But that guy. Well, there's all sorts of those channels where they're like, it's these Mickey Mouse phones us at 3 a.m. and then there's a plush of Mickey Mouse at the door, and then it's like, and then they have to play this like sort of boom, and all this kind of stuff. And they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
Those
those
are so
videos.
good.
Yeah, so, good stuff.
Because they're great for comedy, not horror.
Yeah, they're almost unironically enjoyable to watch
Almost,
because
yeah.
they're so dumb.
I just can't imagine
It's
having that
kind
energy to keep making those sort of things though. Like just sort of
I
like
know,
really
and
so
they make it
many.
like every day.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'd imagine those paychecks are pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
It's like
point.
that dude on YouTube, Fat TV, where it's basically he's like I think he's in like Romania or something. He's just a very rich guy from doing those sort of videos. Like he dresses up as Marvel characters and they do like these insane skits that are for like babies or like kids who are just browsing YouTube to get that ad revenue.
You're talking
And it's
about
just
the
like
Joker burger?
yeah, the guy who made Crazy Hamburger, that guy.
Crazy hamburger.
And it's just like what do their neighbors think, you know, like their neighbors are just kind of making coffee in the morning and they look out their window and their neighbors are just running around dressed as the Avengers, like spraying like
It's a free show.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
YouTube's
it's
weird.
not unlike voice acting for Brickfilms and just like having to yell and then your neighbors like hear you being
Yeah.
screaming at the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
Gotta
You just
whisper
gotta
though.
learn to. You
I was
just
just
gotta
trying to
learn to
think
not
of
care.
what was the name of those? Was it the Dubray brothers?
The Dobrik brothers.
Dubray brothers. Do you know those guys?
The
They're-
dough brick?
No, are they called the Dubray brothers or something?
No, it's
I
a
can't
different
remember.
guy.
They're like
No, it's
there's like
like
four of them, isn't there, or
The
something? And they're like
Pauls?
no, they're like they're these like brothers, and they do these kind of weird videos where they're like, one of us gets kidnapped, and then they're like running around. They got to try and find
Oh
her, and
yeah.
yeah. But they got like really bad acting. Like they're like not just like bad acting. It's like really kind of like robotic, kind of um no emotion, kind of like acting. It's so funny.
Oh, you mean the guys that are active like right now, and they're doing it on purpose?
I don't know. No, I think they were more like 2019, 2020 kind
Oh,
of.
okay.
Um, I remember watching like commentary videos about them. Like I pretty forgot what they're called now. I'm sure there was like four of them, and
Not worth finding it.
yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm just looking at the clock, and we are 1 minute away from the halfway point of that.
Oh god.
Oh damn.
Snap.
So,
Should probably put out a
12 more hours to
like a tweet
go.
or something.
Oh, I'm gonna pray if I can get this done in time.
Best of luck.
Thank you. I mean, I won't be mad or anything if I don't get it done in time.
At this point, I'm definitely gonna finish it on time. It's just like I'm not that interested in going to bed at like 4 a.m. But
I get it. It's different for me
anything
because
for
like
the
right
fact.
now it's gonna turn midnight for me, so it's a bit more harder.
Yeah, what time did it start for you?
I started. Actually, I don't know when I started in the morning, but I remember I only started. I think from this call 3 hours ago because I only started like I only decided halfway during the day. You know what? I'm gonna do that like this year. So if I don't make it, like I'm not mad or anything. At least like I say, like I attempted attack.
It's interesting. I started this month is my 10-year anniversary of brick filming.
Ooh,
So
nice.
I grew up on like the 2010s YouTube brickfilmers, like Keshin and Forest Fire and Aubrey Studios and all them. But they didn't really ever influence my brick films that much, even though I watched them like all the time. I mean, I did have a couple videos directly ripping off Forest Fire, like any good brick filmer, but
That's how everyone starts off.
I don't know. I know some of my influences for my modern day videos, but like I don't know what was influencing my older videos. Just my own insane thoughts, I guess.
Well, James, you were making brick films before Forest Fire, so how were you inspired if not by Forest Fire?
Exactly.
True. It's very true. I don't think he was even like on my radar at that point, honestly. I think that was before he got super like skilled at animating. I think he was just making just kind of like it was basically like 2 or 3 still frames of like the little blippy mouths talking.
Well,
So
I
it's
mean,
like
he was
not
controversial even then because those
yeah
were the first like brick films that
yeah.
really
I've
popped
avoided
off.
that whole like
Yeah.
timeline, thankfully. But yeah. I think a lot of I go back a little further. So my inspirations were either The Simpsons or like some cartoons or like really crusty, like 5 frames per second brick films on this old website that you can't even download anymore. Like, I don't know, just like a weird hodgepodge of stuff that kind of like came together, you know?
Yeah.
I was at around that time I was like friends with like a lot of super talented brick filmers too, like Zach, for instance, still friends with him, and like his stuff at that time was like super inspiring as well. Because you always want to kind of like up your game when you're around talented people, you know.
Mm. I know. I only found out about like Forest Fire. I think actually 3 or 4 years into Brickfilm and everything. Because I first started off with like Michael Hickox and Brotherhood Workshop, like
Oh
they're
yeah,
new. But
yeah.
then I think after 3 years of like actually doing stop motion, I remember one time I got a comment saying like, I mean the story's good, but the animation it's not Forest Fire level. And I was like, what's Forest Fire? So I just searched up. I was like, I watched his Justice League video first. Like, oh, this is actually really good because I was like shocked like the mouth syncing and the effects and everything.
Yeah, he's definitely come a long way. I do
Oh, yeah.
remember I
Nowadays-
made my a Lego Batman film back in like 2009 or 10. And I did a lot of the comments are positive, but like some people accuse me of ripping off Forest Fire. But Forest Fire's in the comments saying how much he enjoyed the film. And it's like this dude he doesn't own like the Batman license or anything. So I don't know why
Batman
people are
and
like
He's
using
just another
profanities.
promotion YouTuber as ever.
Copyrighted brick filming.
Yeah, you know, he owns making brick films for Batman. Like,
yeah, that's
Well,
true.
nowadays he kind of does because like basically anybody making Batman brick films at this point, most of them are copying him, or at least
I feel like
very
now
heavily
people are
influenced.
moving towards the more serious Batman brick films and like
I've
having a
noticed that,
story.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
less so
They
like,
are.
hey Robin, get me a drink and things like that. But
Lol,
feel like people
Robin,
trying to
you're
keep-
gay.
yeah, you're
Hello.
gay, Robin, haha. And
Let's repeat his
yeah.
joke for 2 more minutes.
There was one recently that made me laugh a lot. I forgot who made it, but it was like Alfred walks into the room and like Batman's like, "Oh, be careful. I just put down some tiling on the ground." And Alfred's like, "Oh, right." And then he immediately slips and his head cracks open and just pours out blood. And then it just cut to credits. It's like I don't know why
I'm just
that made me
imagining
crack
Spiteful
up.
credits after
There's-
that.
There's something about like I think now because I think I saw that one too. I think it was funny because it just boils down like that whole format of just like being needlessly cruel to whether it be Robin or Alfred or everything, and
Yeah.
just does it immediately right to the point. No
Yeah, it's
build
just-
up, no anything.
It's just
Yeah.
so pure.
And it honestly, it didn't even have to be a Batman brick film. It was just like window dressing. It's like you could have just
Yeah.
made this about random people, but it just like I don't know, just the combination of all those factors just like made me crack up.
was this a recent
Yeah.
brick film?
Yeah,
That
it
was
came
a
out like a
month
few
ago.
weeks ago.
Oh, right.
it sounds
Like,
familiar. I feel like
Oh,
I
okay.
saw
I
it,
think
but
I think it
don't
was I think
remember
his name is
why.
Viper Ace. He does a lot of Batman.
Okay.
Yes,
brick
yes,
films.
I remember. Yeah.
Well, if you're watching Viper Ace, good job. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
And
I will
there's
say
a
as well,
few
We're talking-
where
Brick Tavern Films
I won't name.
was great as well.
Okay. Yeah, I won't name names, but there are a few like Batman like Brickfilms where it has like one joke and it's dragged out like 4 or 5 minutes too long, and it's like,
that's brilliant.
huh?
I've seen like that. That's what I think the whole point of the video is. Like they make the one joke and it's like, oh, this is the funniest thing. I want to keep saying this over and over again.
Yeah. I like Justin Roiland a lot, like in small doses, but I feel like a lot of people are trying to copy that style now, where you just kind of repeat the punchline 3 or 4 times needlessly, and it just
And then you make it
gets
meta
old.
as well.
Yeah, and you make it meta.
like his High on Life game.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
love whenever somebody has an actual good joke and then they just cut it off as soon as you get the point.
Yes.
The instant you get the point, it just
Yep.
ends. Cut.
Brevity's soul wit still holds true to this day.
I think to me that makes it funny because it shows that there's the whoever is making the joke knows exactly when the audience is gonna get it, and then it's just like they're guiding the audience through it, and like they know exactly when to end it. So there's something about that skill is really awesome. Yeah,
and they trust the audience as well with that, which is
Yeah.
Bricktown films.
Yeah, that's
really
something
good,
I try to
for-
get better with my. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just saying for like more serious Batman films. I think the Brick Tavern films, Batman films are really worth having a watch. He's the guy. He won Brawl this last year.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I love his Killer Croc video.
Yeah.
Endless. So good.
I hope someone
Endless
makes
is the
a brick film based on that recent
Oh,
comic where the
God.
Joker gets
Yeah, what
pregnant
is that
with like a mud
about?
monster. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Make a
It's just
YouTube
like a
video.
magic spell or something.
I don't know the context, and I don't want to know. I love the idea of just
it's
Okay,
I do
yeah,
want
yeah.
to know the context.
The problem is
How?
the problem is I do want to say the context because it's one of these things that people are trying to whip up into this like, oh, DC, the Joker has gone woke.
he is
But
the
which is-
woker.
yeah.
Woker.
But it's just like a magic
It
spell.
just looks more like fan fiction to
Nothing.
me.
It looks like one of those kind of like YouTube Kids videos. Though it's like
Yeah,
where you
oh my
think
God,
she's
you're right.
pregnant, like
Yeah,
pregnant
that's-
Elsa.
That's what I'm saying.
What
Like
if you look up
the plot
pregnant Joker, you find
literal
like a million
YouTube
of those
Kids
YouTube
moment.
Kids.
The plot twist is that it's actually Joker Vor.
Wait, I forgot. If you look up pregnant Joker, you're just getting all of these people like the quartering, like, oh, pregnant Joker, DC going woke.
Yeah.
I do
Really
feel
should
like
be more.
it's funny.
Pregnant Joker is
Now
the
you're making me
pinnacle
want to
of the
make
culture
that
war.
into like a YouTube. Now you're making me want to make that into like a YouTube video, but I don't want to put
Please
in all that
do.
effort for
Please do.
a
Joker becomes woke. Finally.
I'm the woker, baby.
I'm the woker, baby.
Joker officially puts pronouns in his bio.
No, it's like ha ha, he, something like that.
Yeah.
That's
Hee
funny.
haw.
I do it.
That would be
Ha
what
ha,
the Joker would do.
he, him.
Oh, Batman. You have him in your bio, Batman. I have he. Ha 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 ha. How do you like that, Batman? Does that trigger you, Batman?
No Joker.
No Joker, you can only have one set of pronouns.
Joker. I support you, Joker.
That reminds me of like a TikTok animation I saw of the Batman, the Joker, and a Pokemon, but I'm not gonna bring it up because it's probably
Oh,
not
no,
like
I
a Joker.
know,
But you know
no.
the one. No Joker.
Don't do it, Joker.
I don't want to know.
One of
Don't
the
tell me.
I feel like I think like all you've probably seen it at this point. I really love the Sonic is it Sonic Adventure meme where it's like unlike you blue-haired liberals, I don't use
Oh, yeah,
pronouns.
it's so
Oh yeah.
True and based.
Was it the one where it's Sonic and
That's the
Shadow
one.
running down
That's it,
like
Shadow, yeah.
a corridor?
Speed running.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's really
That's the
good.
best one.
And then
Yeah.
pronoun police come. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one about
That was a
speed
good
running
one.
is the funniest for sure. Shadow, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I do think that's like I probably don't want to go into too much, but I do kind of feel like the turning like the kind of like woke go broke kind of thing is into like a ironic meme is kind of I like that kind of thing is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good meme. It's like one of my favorite memes from the past like year or so.
Oh, yeah.
I do
Green,
love
yellow.
when the Batman came out and like there was one dude on Twitter who's like, "Oh no, they turned the Riddler into a pronoun." It's like, what the fuck?
That's so good.
Wait,
Yeah.
It literally
Words
makes
mean
no
nothing
where's he
sense.
anymore.
getting that?
I love
But,
that
I
that
feel
statement
like
actually like yeah.
I feel like you don't need to have too much Twitter brain rot to be able to recognize that people on YouTube who still have the same like 2016 screaming liberal in their faces in their thumbnails, like
Yeah,
that's
literally the
cringe.
same
Like, it's
faces,
the
isn't it?
same ones. Yeah.
Well, it ain't broke.
It's like it kind of just really kind of like shows that like people that they're getting mad about, it's like a really small kind of a number of people if they're literally using the same, same faces from like,
It more
7
just
years
feels like,
ago.
wow,
Like,
you got stuck in the past. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, come join
Stuck in
us.
2013 or 2014.
We should be stuck in
Forever.
2004 brickfilms.com era like us.
God.
Yeah.
Not me.
we should be stuck in
You mean like
2009
us
slash
literally? Okay.
we should be stuck in 2009/2010 channel awesome.
God.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Hello,
I
I'm
realize
nostalgic critic.
in
I've never said you
Minecraft.
don't have to.
Sometimes you
Imagine
still
just a
see people
nostalgia
making
critic for
YouTube
like
videos like that.
Brickfilms.
What's that?
Yeah, like Doug Walker. Sometimes you see him make
Oh,
videos.
yeah.
Sometimes.
Mm.
What I find really
Well,
funny
I
is
don't
like
know.
doing a video on the
sometimes
cleaners.
sometimes you do see videos where like they're like there'll be some sort of video essay or something, but they'll do it in that way of like there's these two characters that are played by the same person, and then there's this like
Mm.
really bad acting, and I just think, God, this is just nostalgia critic. Why are you
Yeah,
doing
but then
this?
sometimes
Yeah,
they
I've
do
seen
it like
Blunty do that
ironically.
back in like
Funny.
2007. It's like been around
Oh
forever.
yeah. Start talking about Blunty again.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this is my 12th year attempting THAC. So literally, I've been attempting THAC for half my life.
Oh wow.
That's actually genuinely
That's-
impressive.
Is it?
Very consistent.
And like, you've actually like attempted each year, not just being
Not
around?
every year, but like
Right.
I started attempting THAC in 2010. So,
Right.
but I
That's
was
not a thing, though.
12. I was 12 years old. So I.
The Kevin
yeah.
McCarthy of THAC.
Oh no.
Well, it didn't take him that long to finally win one.
Yeah, that's true. I won THAC quicker than Kevin McCarthy got. Finally got it.
Sure. Got that going for you for sure.
Yeah. Well, it is funny. We were talking about like how you placed in THAC and then you think you're like, oh, maybe I can place again, and it just doesn't happen. That's literally like other than like, when we ranked all of them, the one time I placed in THAC was first place. And even then I was a third of an entry. And then after that it's just nothing.
Oh yeah, I don't know the story behind that entry at all. Like, how did you guys do like a third each?
So
With
you've seen The
person?
Exquisite Corpse, right?
Brickfilms.
Uh,
I would like to say I did. I have.
Okay, no, that's fine. No, so basically it's our entry it's called The Exquisite Corpse. It's basically a film that's divided into thirds because an exquisite corpse it's a drawing technique where you take a piece of paper and then you fold it into thirds, and then one person draws one, like you say, draw a creature. One person draws the head, another person draws the body or the torso, and one person draws the legs. But you don't see what they don't see what the other person drew. And we basically did that with a 3-act film where somebody did the first act, someone did the second act, someone did the third act without knowing what the other person did.
Obviously with a bare framework in mind.
Yeah, we had like a very loose story of like, this is the one thing that happens in the first act, this is the one thing that happens in the second act, this is the one thing that happens in the third act. The specific details of what happens in there, that's up to you, and it can be in a different tone. So that's basically how we did that. And then we literally put them all together 30 minutes before the deadline, and then rendered it, and that was it.
I mean, obviously, I wasn't part of making the film, but as far as I remember, you would, I think you would agree with this, that like as soon as you stuck them all together, it was like, oh my god, they work, they match.
Yes, we literally were like, this is going to be awful, but screw it, we're going to do it anyway. And then we watched it, and we were laughing. So I so wish we had recorded it, but I was laughing. We all were laughing so hard because the realization of, oh my God, this works. Like, not only does it work, it's really good. But just, yeah, it coming together was incredible. And that's how I think everyone should approach that. Because literally just like, I'm just going to make something that's going to be awesome. I have no idea if it's going to work, but just go and make it, and maybe it'll do well. So
Obviously,
wanna
with that
make.
tech, obviously there was no, you weren't going to get bonus points for the method in which you made it, but it just so happened that it actually came out as just a good film, where even if you don't know how it was made, it still is just good. It just worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always it's worth saying things like that.
And those were the times in which doing co-productions were controversial.
Well, yeah. I mean, I still, it probably would be controversial even now still if a first place winner had 3 different like separate community members making it.
I just decided, let's
know why
all
there's
make an
big
entry with
controversy.
what we've got so far and just make it happen.
Brickfilmer Hype
There you go.
House.
Yeah, just call it like art house, and just have them all completely disconnected in a random order, and say this is how it's meant to be.
Yes.
I just thought of an idea for an event. What if you were split up into groups and like a trio, and you all had to make like a video like that, like pieces of a video, and then that was set up like that.
I will
It
say
would be
that
hard because some people would not have to hold up their weight of the video, and it'd have to be the same, quality and all that. But it could be interesting.
I will say I have pitched that idea as a contest before.
Yes.
We haven't cracked how that would work because there's a lot of logistics that go into it. For one, you're dependent on other people. 2, let's be real, it's not exactly going to be fair to some people if a 10+ year animator's been paired up to someone where this is their first film. It can be difficult sometimes.
It would there's a whole bunch
logistics.
of additional complications if it's a contest setting for those sort of things. Like, people have done that just randomly. Or, Brickfilm today has done their finished story films, and way back in 2001 there was the director's project, which was more or less like same as Brickfilm. They finished the story, or other things people do now, where it's just one person makes a minute, then they send it to the next person and make the next minute. But yeah, it would be very interesting to try to figure out if you could make it work as a contest.
Maybe not a contest,
Also-
maybe just a community project.
Maybe.
I was going through my old messages from the old forum last night, and I found one from a member who was asking me if I want to participate in like an exquisite corpse type project, and I thought the concept was actually still kind of cool, and I like to make it with some people someday. I don't. It's like, on one hand, it's his idea, but the other hand, this is back in 2006, so I don't think he's
So he
gonna
might-
make
probably
it
wouldn't mind.
anymore. But I feel like the concept itself, a lot of people could have come up with it. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I'd talk to you guys about it later.
Yeah. I was gonna. I'll say it. I was gonna say, oh, you could still give him a nod in the credits, but then I was like, maybe you wouldn't want to. I don't know.
No, it's like, I think his name was Zenite or something. I forgot. So it's a Z type name. Yeah.
Zenitite, I think it was.
Zenitite. Yeah, it was him.
Okay.
And
In that case, I don't know any reason why you wouldn't want to acknowledge that. That sounds fine to me.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. Just popping his name in the credits, even though he's probably long gone or doesn't care about Brickfilms anymore.
Zenitite, if you're listening, you're not cancelled.
Yes.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch yourself.
He made one called Normal Morning, I think it was. There was a guy in a house. Yeah,
That sounds riveting.
it certainly does.
This is the content that I started Brickfilming for.
I wonder if it's about a
Maybe.
normal morning of a normal guy.
These are the
Does it-
incredible gems
wonder if
that I've
it-
saved by archiving the second
I
directory.
wonder if it's
Does it start with an alarm clock in the morning?
does it start with the alarm clock, him getting up, having a shower, brushing his teeth,
Goes to
eating,
work, and
driving
then his
to
day
work?
repeats. We got to see if this year's TAC will have any of those.
I was
Uh,
just
what
about to
is
say,
it?
what do we think
Last
the
ball that
unofficial
had all the
theme?
alarm clocks.
Yeah, what's the unofficial theme going to be?
You know what's
So
really
much
funny?
so that
Oh, sorry, yeah.
no, so much so that Brawl had an unofficial theme, that there was an entry making fun of all the unofficial themes. I wonder what's the question is, what is the unofficial theme going to be this year?
Yeah, there's always one. Like I don't remember if it was last year's stack or the stack before that. There was like a bunch of films that all had like nudity in them.
That was about like 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
Jeez.
Maybe 2.
And then there was one that had a lot of skeletons.
Yeah, that was stack 2020.
Yeah, this is only ones I participated in. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be people arguing.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
feel
like
like
it's
that's
like
what it is.
fights because
Yeah.
it's gonna be resolving the
Yeah.
fight or the issue.
Yeah.
I almost feel like saying that inspired my thinking behind the theme idea. Just sort of like, I don't know, it
Fighting.
being on my mind of when people end up arguing and stuff, and sometimes it's unavoidable. But it's like, well, it would be nice for stuff to be resolved. So, well,
Ding.
make a bunch of tag entries about. I don't know.
That'll solve all the world's problems.
Exactly.
Thack will save the world.
Yeah,
We're
no,
slowly
that's
getting there.
probably true. Is that
We're slowly getting
arguments.
to the point where, like, I mean, last year we had 120 entries. See what happens this year, but if we keep going in that way, we'll eventually get to, like, millions of entries, and then it becomes this thing that the whole world does. The world stops to do that. That's the goal.
Yeah, for one day out of the year, there's world peace while everyone's working on their tag entry.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of peace. The chaos is just contained to each individual to their own house.
Yeah, I was really surprised that there were more brawl entries than thack entries last year
We all
because
were.
it just it seems like something that would be a lot harder to do because you have to
We-
get off some.
We
You
brawl.
have to have more time.
I think we have to credit that to the iceberg video. The iceberg video had popped off just a couple of months before.
Yeah.
That is true.
This last summer was insane. Like I pretty much segregate last year from before summer and after summer because I feel like a lot of stuff, like especially in my life, particularly changed over the summer.
But yeah, as we said it, I think we ought to have said it on the Brawl episode of the podcast, but like we literally never thought that would ever happen. That Brawl could have more than tech, like ever. Historically, Brawl always had about half of tech. Then it started to creep upwards, but that leap was just we completely did not see that coming. Of course, now we have no idea what this tech is going to look like.
Yeah, because the leap from Brawl was literally from 77 to 132, which is unreal. But like, I mean, who knows what the heck could happen with that this year? Like, because there's a whole bunch of people who are joining the Brickfilms Discord who we've never seen before and have said like, oh, I was told I should enter that, so I'm going to do it, and let's hope that doesn't lead to a whole bunch of disqualified entries. But we'll have to see.
It's also cool to see people showing up and saying, "Oh, I just heard about this on Edbound's stream." Like,
yes,
I saw
it's already
started.
started.
Was on there, yeah.
We'll take the free promo. Hopefully, just him starting 6 hours late won't screw anyone who wanted who would have entered earlier.
Another thing you see a lot of is police officers and police cars because Reddit.
I've noticed a couple police builds so far. Yeah.
Well, I know Edbounds is doing that himself actually. So.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. He's doing some of that knife man. I'm pretty sure.
He's a trendsetter for sure.
I was just wondering,
we
definitely.
I think we do have to say that we're extremely appreciative that Edbound is sort of plugged into our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
Very,
good
very
dude.
talented.
But yeah, he's not only is
Oh,
he a great
100%.
person, but yeah, it benefits us. Like he has that, like he's right in there with the zeitgeist at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this may be coming from a less informed place, but he's the only brick filmer I can think of that's like close to a genuine influencer, like in personality especially. He's got that.
Kinda.
That's what his behind the scenes stuff and like
Yeah.
his live streams. He's just so
He's-
watchable. Like
There's
a lot of
probably
brick
no question
filmers,
about it that he's the most influential.
you
Like
you'll watch their
brick
live
films
streams.
currently. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
people who make brick films, and you're like, oh, this is basically just Ed Van's style.
Yeah, like even the way they speak and everything, or like the way it's formatted. But it's
I
like
would
Yeah, I
it's
say,
saw.
not a bad thing or
I'd
anything. It's like
say,
happy they're
Like
doing that.
the video game music they use, it's like, oh, I know you just heard that in Ed Van's videos.
I kind of
Yeah.
feel like I've even taken influence of Ed Val myself. Actually, I feel like some of my more recent output has some kind of Ed Bound sort of like vibes to it. I think Time for Pi. I think the way that like the way the characters are animated and stuff was definitely like I was going for like Ed Bound style, and also like
Of course,
yeah, I don't know.
Ed Van knows this himself, but his style is fantastic for like getting stuff done kind of quicker. Like, obviously it would be good for tech because that like sort of jumpy style, like big jumps between things holding comical
Yeah.
positions.
Yeah.
It's so much quicker to do than than that like Twick-a-brick like super fine motion that's just absolutely pixel
Yeah,
perfect.
And
You
if
know-
you unlike the fine motion, if you do the fine motion wrong, it looks like really slow and boring. But if you do the
Yeah.
super fast, jumpy animation wrong, it still looks like
And
fun.
It was supposed to look that way.
Well, they're all good. You can obviously you can use them all in your own films. Like obviously, yeah, I love the Twick and Brick films, and some of those brawl entries were mind blowing. The animation that he was doing in those brawl entries. But yeah, I would say that it's a good idea to aim for that more advanced style and tack, especially for saving time. I'd like to do that, but I keep finding myself falling back into the like, oh no, I want it to be in the most minute movements. I can't stop myself.
Yeah, see,
I tend to jump between the two when I'm animating.
that's
Yeah.
the smooth is my go-to. So I think that's not good.
No.
But yeah, maybe if I wasn't doing that, maybe I would have finished like that character.
I try and I feel like personally I don't really have too much of a specific style that is I always do. I feel like I fluctuate between each film. So like I think that the way that Track or Track is animated is very different to something that like um my previous stacks entry like Loop TV or like Time for Pi or anything like that. They're not done in a similar style. And I just think like in terms of tone and what I'm trying to go for, I try and change it up a little bit, I think.
I would say I would kind of disagree. Like at least your last, like I remember, like specifically your last few, they've all had a unique style. If you ask me, that like immediately jumps out as being made by you.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm less likely to notice it myself. That's interesting, actually. Yeah.
Do a lot of people still make documentaries, or has that kind of like petered out a bit over the years?
I feel like
I
that
see
died
some.
out. I
Right,
don't
you
see
might
as many
say
as I
that-
did before.
Yeah.
Tech live streams have probably taken the space of documentaries.
That's
Ed
true.
Van's
Yeah.
streaming now.
Yeah.
100
I-
streaming.
I've wanted to make a documentary for the last stack brawl and this stack, and then every time I'm like, I can't do both. I can't
Mhm.
concentrate
Yeah.
on making a good film and also document it.
Yeah, I've never done one because I've always just thought I don't want to have to think about something else that will take up any of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that's
can
the
see
thing.
how live streaming makes more sense for this sort of event.
I just don't really get like how people have the time to do it because like I've struggled to do just like um stack on its own without thinking about having to update a video and actually have a material to turn it into something. The only thing I have like I'm still thinking whether or not I should turn it into something. I've got about an hour's worth of footage from when I was trying to attempt that 2021, and I've literally I haven't even released any material from the film or anything, and I was tempted I attempted to do make a music video and do the song and then make the video afterwards. So I had this whole challenge, and I actually wrote the song and performed it and stuff, and then I was gonna make a film after that, but I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do. And then suddenly I was like, oh, right, yeah. And I just gave up then after that.
Yeah.
I
Just
am.
go ahead.
Well, depending on how miserable I feel later, I'm hoping to make a score for my own film.
Ooh.
Just I don't know if I will have the energy.
Play by ear.
Uh,
I think I must leave for a moment, but I might come back on microphone only though before too long.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Talking. So, yeah.
Speak to you soon.
Mm.
Actually, I think Sanjiro might be joining us soon.
Oh.
Snap.
Message me. So.
The absolute unit.
Good old Sanji boy.
What do you even put into a behind the scenes of a brick film? Because people are like, how do you do this? How did you do this? And I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. And I take some videos of my sets while I'm in the middle of making it. And I'm like, I'll put this in a video later on. But I'm like, what exactly do people want to see or want to know about this?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think maybe just special. Well, it depends on what you do with it. If there's special techniques or oh, I add this little thing in the set, I think it would probably be something like that. Or I don't know. I think just the process of seeing how certain footage comes out or something, just kind of documenting the whole process. But I don't know.
when I was thinking about doing one, I was thinking of making a parody, basically, of overdramatic documentaries, but
Oh,
without
yeah.
making a Thack entry. But
Fake interviews with yourself.
yeah, I was gonna have a talking head interview with myself,
Nice.
explaining the whole thing. But
That's another week's worth of video right there.
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm still gonna have to make the compilation for Thack and watch all the entries.
Actually,
So
I did my first ever documentary type thing for a film last year for 96.1.
Oh.
And what I did was I only had a bit of footage really from during it, and I did a kind of I sat down and I just sort of explained about specific techniques and stuff that I did that I felt would be interesting. So I just sort of talked about I think about three things, and also talked about the process, behind the scenes, and I think how I came up with the concept and all that kind of stuff. And people seem to really like it, so I'm thinking I would like to try and sort of do that again. But it was a lot of stuff the work was really after the film rather than too much stuff beforehand, which I think is probably largely the reason why I ended up doing it in the end.
yeah, I remember that video. Now that you mention it, that was actually a really cool video.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I remember especially when it came out, I was like, this is really interesting. You don't see brick filmers making stuff like this normally.
Mm.
I can't remember was that film for a contest? Was that for Thack?
It was
Or-
for Brick Film Day.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that was a reason you came out with it when you did, but I couldn't remember if it was for a contest or not.
Yeah, so I think
I'm just
that's
glad I made
Yeah.
it.
I always try to shoot behind the scenes stuff when I make brick films or any videos. It's I have to remind myself to do it because for some reason I generally think that, oh, people already know how to do this sort of thing, or my process isn't that interesting to other people. But there are people out there who are curious about it and do want to see how other people work. It just is something out there.
I feel like
remind
with you
myself to
being
do.
a bigger name and being like one of the oldies in brick filming, people want to see like how you would do it. Like the only behind the scenes video I could think of you doing that you did was the steamed hams one, and that was
Yeah.
different because that was behind the scenes of a 3D animation, and that's a different thing that you've done, and that shows different techniques that you've done, and that was interesting. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I feel like
that was before like CGI brick films were a big thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
even
I
when
noticed
like
that have
Forrest does
picked up a lot
videos,
over the
when
past
Forrest
couple
does
of years.
behind the scenes videos and stuff like that, I'm like, it's interesting to see what he does because every video he does something completely different. He adds a new technique, he adds a new format to it, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah,
And
I
those
have
sets that he
gotten.
builds are impressive in scale. Like, so to see it in the like a bigger, wider and also I think just like seeing the space in which those sets exist, like that's really cool to see.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram, and he's like, I'm, just working on a little bit on this city, and he's got like this whole Gotham City in his studio. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I have. Oh, go ahead.
it cut out for a second. You're talking about Forrest, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't like enjoy his videos humor wise at all anymore.
I can see
But
that.
I always watch them because his animation and sets and everything is just like so insanely impressive that I can't help myself. I gotta admire it from a technical level at least.
Yeah, it is mad. Like the amount of quality that goes into all of his videos nowadays. Like I remember he made a quick Batman one whenever it first came out. I was shocked like how good it was, like the quality and everything.
I
Yeah.
felt like with yeah, I mean I've been recently seeing the stuff that he's been posting on Instagram, and like it's unusual because I feel like so often there is a kind of divide between, you know, the kind of like mock builder and someone who makes sets for brick films, because you know you have that kind of the, I guess, the classic Nathan Wells sort of quote of, you know, only show what the camera sees. But it's really interesting to see someone basically making mock scale, you know, buildings and you know, so
Yeah.
that's I think one of the things that
And
makes it
it,
really interesting.
and it makes sense because he's gonna be making like tons of videos in that world, so it makes sense he would make like a full scale like city essentially, where it could be shot from many different angles. Because you never know if he'll just gonna use that one building in a later video, or you're just gonna only see it one angle from it forever. But it's good to have that on standby just to pop in front of the camera, I guess.
I remember recently, I don't remember, I feel like it was on the World of Brick Films podcast, but I could be wrong. I remember somebody making the
Be
point
right back.
that it's only build what the camera sees is like true to a point, but it's also really nice to have like to be able to have like a bigger set that you can just shoot a bunch of angles from without having to rebuild the set every single time.
Yeah, it does sound like something I would have said.
I don't remember
Because,
who said it, but
well, I was just gonna start to say like, oh yeah, I've done both of those techniques, and it's like, oh yeah, of course, I probably already said that whenever it was the first time I said it, but yeah, I like both. Yeah, I've done films where you build the entire set, four walls, floor and ceiling, and then you can point it anywhere. But then, especially if you're trying to save time, like back and brawl, like if you just build in camera and the set is you just build one corner of the set because you know that you're only gonna show the action in there. It's good.
Hey, it's
Flip
Sanjira.
Sanji boy.
Unjira.
Hello, how's everybody
my
doing
God.
this fine evening?
Amazing.
I hope everybody's having a delightful little thack. I'm just here walking and talking. Oh, what's going on, everybody? I have no idea what's going on.
What's the reference? Who is that?
I think you have to look inward for that one. I think you have to really I think you have to look inward. I think you might have to look inward for that one.
Guess we'll never know.
You'll figure it out eventually, Chris. You'll figure it out. How is things going for Thack, baby? I don't. What's the business? This is coming in late on this little live stream. How's everybody doing? What's the
fine.
I think we're doing pretty good.
key
Yeah,
lime pie?
we've kind of like got to
I'm
a
doing
point
great.
where
You're doing good.
hey, Yeah, I think
It's valid.
we had a bit of a kind of hiccup like halfway through the stream, and
A
had
bit
to,
of technical difficulties.
yeah.
Yes, as is off to happen. Yeah, as is usually the case, But you
Which
gotta
is-
live with it.
Which is which is a really common thing for the podcast. It's just you don't usually get to see those bits.
Yeah, like people, it's nice, with that where you can really kind of pull that veil of professionalism, of you get to see
Yeah.
all the jazz.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, is that Chris right behind you?
What picture is that? Because I know that's me. Honestly, I thought it was a woman at first. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah, I thought it was like an actress at first too.
What
but I was
is
like,
it?
wait a minute.
What picture is that?
Oh, I believe.
Was it just some
here.
Snapchat that I sent you or something?
No, I was just looking through
Is it a
my
Sweden
Google
picture?
photos. Yeah, it's from when we're on the plane, getting ready.
I was
to
wondering.
go there. Yeah, and it's not even a photo. It's like it picked out that as the thumbnail image on my photos, and I was just like, all right, there it is. I
Very
can
good.
hear a word you're saying for some reason. I don't know why. You
Oh
just
no,
said
sorry. Text me that photo, or send me that photo, and I'll pull it up on stream.
Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, it's just a little freaking thumbnail. I should probably turn off my treadmill desk so that I can focus on my brain on words. But yeah, here, let me send that to you, bad boy, real quick.
Oh no, I thought it seemed as though you were like walking on the spot or something. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, all right, I got to get that energy going. Got to get those steps in and stuff. So
I was like,
Right.
that's like a female actress, or that's like a marionette doll or something.
oh no, you have to think higher of yourself, Christopher. You're not either of those things.
You don't know me.
That's true. Yeah. If you did turn yourself into a little finger puppet with little strings on your hands and stuff, I would respect that. Actually, I would really enjoy that.
There it is.
It's I don't know why, but just stretching it out to the screen just makes your smile just glow and makes your
Just
eyes
radiates. Yeah.
glint and gleam. Yeah. So
Okay,
I'm
if
just
we're
so happy.
showing candid
Yeah.
photos,
Oh, please,
from Sweden, hold on.
please.
That's good ones.
Do your worst, villain. Oh, he's looking.
Oh yeah.
With a
I
little
can feel the
Polaroid hat.
Here's-
anticipation.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here's one. My man is knocked.
I haven't seen that one.
I thought those
Wow.
were like
a good photo. I
wraparound
don't know what you're talking about.
sunglasses at first.
Yeah, I was just chilling. No, it's
Yeah.
my absolutely awesome epic sleeping mask.
Oh my god.
Oh
Is
yeah.
slumped on the plane.
How long was that
slumped.
flight?
Like 8 hours.
Oh,
7
wow.
hours? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was just the leg to
The
was it
Belgium
Copenhagen?
blunderbuss. Brussels. That's it. Yeah, that's the
Brussels.
city.
Or Brussels, yeah.
Yeah, nice little place. Lots of Smurfs, lots of Tintin. They've got it all really figured out there. They've got it
Yeah.
all decked out.
Yeah.
did you go to the animation museum?
No, we were
They're
just
like-
in the airport because it was supposed to be like a 1 hour connection, and then it got extended to like a 7 hour connection. But that's still
Yeah.
like not long enough to go anywhere. So we're just in the airport. So
So,
yeah,
actually,
alas.
That got really annoying.
that's annoying amount of time. Yeah.
It's like that one Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, terminal.
Oh, where he's stuck there for like 75 years in the airport. He had time.
No, A Man Called Otto, that one.
Oh,
I don't
what?
know what one you're talking about.
The terminal.
Terminal, right?
Terminal.
Wait,
Oh, you're talking about
wait.
Terminal.
I know. I
You
was,
were yanking that
Oh my
chain.
God.
I was yanking
He
your
was
chain.
yanking me.
You were hanking.
It's crazy.
He was hanking my Tommy. Oh man, because I saw the trailer for A Man Called Ove in front of Glass Onion, A Knives Out History, and I thought it looked it looked diarrhea doo-doo, as I would say sometimes. But I was like, I didn't remember no airplane. I didn't remember any airport. So you
I do
can't
like
do
the
that.
idea.
You
I
can't
do
just
like.
lie about movies.
I do like the
Yeah.
idea that he's like in another film where it's like him being stuck at an airport is like a major plot point.
Yeah, and they just can't think of anything else. Yeah. I love the story about the actual guy that movie's based on, not a man called Odoov, the terminal one, where it's just like some actual dude and nobody like knows like why. Maybe they did. I don't know. I thought I remember that nobody knew why he was stuck there. Like he just didn't want to leave, or like he couldn't leave, but nobody knew why he couldn't or didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
Or something
I forget
like
it was
that.
inspired by an actual person.
Yeah, it was just
didn't
some
know it
dude who
was.
was actually in an airport for like 25 years.
The actual, I think in the film, it's because the country that he's in is kind of the country that he's from is in like a civil war, and he's not, and it's like it dissolves. His country no longer exists or something. So he's
I don't
stuck.
like when Tom Hanks does fake accents in movies. Personally,
Sounds very off character.
Elvis was an experience.
I still need to watch that.
Have you seen?
I enjoyed it, but
Pinocchio?
it's like
liked
it's
it.
pretty wild.
Have you seen Pinocchio?
He like
the
slips
Disney
in and
one?
out of the accent all the time in that. And it's funny because the guy he plays didn't really have an accent, like the actual person. He just
Like, what
decided to give him
accent
one.
does he have? Does he have like his old Southern drawl
It's
or
like
something?
No, it's like a Dutch / Southern drawl accent combined. It's very bizarre. It doesn't sound anything like the actual person.
I don't know how you like do that. How does that combo even work? Dutch
don't
and
know.
Southern. Oh well.
Once you hear it, you'll understand.
I shall. Yeah, I'll see that at some point in the future.
Yeah.
I've been okay with Romeo plus Juliet and The Great Gatsby, so I could be down with some bars.
Yeah. That was the only movie I've seen of his, but I enjoyed it, so I'm more inclined to check out some of his other stuff now. Even though I still have an aversion to seeing Moulin Rouge, because a lot of people I knew in high school were like
Nostalgia
obsessed
critic.
with that movie, and it was
Oh.
like the annoying theater kids and stuff, and it's like
Anything
Your
annoying
version-
theater kids like, I'm like, nope.
yeah.
Wah.
Well, I think I gotta head out.
Oh, Jaguar,
I know.
with
I
your
know.
little cigarette you've been smoking this entire time.
He's going to
Yeah.
smoke the
I'm
nuclear
dying of
bomb.
lung cancer. I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah.
So, are you
your comeuppance?
Are you making a brick film based on Chris Nolan's upcoming movie?
No, this was just a Instagram post I
Oppenheimer?
made.
Okay, I was gonna ask if how you were gonna animate the nuke
Nuclear
going
blast.
off. Were you gonna do it with?
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a real IRL, just
All
like
practical.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
He's gonna do a practical.
All bricks. I'm gonna use
Yeah.
like 14 billion bricks.
Yeah.
Like the biggest Lego explosion in history.
Christopher
Good deal.
Nolan's Tenet 2, even Tenet harder.
Yeah.
It'll be
Pull
like
up your-
it'll be spelled Tenet again, but the E's will be replaced with twos, the number twos.
Tuna.
Two in it.
Two in it.
Two.
Yes.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes.
I
Alright,
think
well,
he hopes
I still
so.
haven't seen that film.
You don't have to.
Don't.
You don't have to. You know. I like how
Big
everybody was like, no.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris Nolan.
I'm usually pretty positive on the guy too, but that one it was just like, no.
I love Chris Nolan, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Like, I watched that movie with like 10 people, and out of the 10, only one person in our group understood it. And when we were like walking back home, he was
You
like trying to
watched
explain
it-
the entire movie of what
you
we
watched
just
it
saw.
with you watched it with Tenant people.
After I
God.
saw it, I wish I had ten it off and watched something else.
shut
That's
up.
what I would have
Honestly.
done.
I don't know what you guys
1
are
minute
crazy.
timeout. Damn it! I don't
Tenet
have.
is great.
I don't have-
You know
like
you have no power here.
I've got no powers here. No. Oh man, my favorite
All right.
thing.
Well, good talking to y'all.
All right.
Good talking to
Good
you.
luck with the rest of your entry.
Good luck.
Wait,
Yeah.
Tenant was bad from Inception.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I'm just giving you a smirk on that one. I was just giving you a light smirk, a light.
It's a nod.
My problem,
Yeah.
with, my problem with
I
Tenet was
actually
just
turned off
like
Tenet. Sorry, not Tenet. Inception.
no. My problem with Tenet was just like One thing about Christopher Nolan's movies is it's like the puzzle box is trying to explain like, oh, what interpretation of it do you get? But the only reason you talk about Tenet afterwards is trying to understand what actually happened in the movie. So instead it's just like, yeah, I don't know. But
And
Yeah,
what you
I don't
do
hate it,
understand isn't super interesting.
Exactly.
either.
There ain't
So
no
it's like,
nothing to think about.
The weird thing about Christopher Nolan is that like I've seen like half of his films and I like most of them, but I still for some reason kind of don't like him. I don't know. It's weird. Like
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get you,
100%.
man.
Yeah.
I
are you
haven't
discovering
seen
an opinion?
I haven't actually seen Inception.
Me neither.
It's
No.
You
good.
should.
I
It's wonderful.
stopped halfway
movie.
through. Like, oh, it was too confusing.
Prestige is still my favorite of his films.
That's the one that
Yeah,
I do
Prestige
want to
is good.
see.
It's
That's
good.
the one that I do. Little magic
I mean, Memento is
Little
still my
magic
favorite, to be
boys
honest,
and stuff.
that I've seen.
doing weehaw.
David Bowie plays Tesla in it, so that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's good.
I
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
play
yeah. Oh, I
the
love
entire
David
car
Bowie.
company.
He
That's
plays
what I
Elon Musk?
From Iron Man 2?
Yes.
You should just try harder next time.
My dog is barking. 1 second.
That's what happens when you
So
make
No,
just
Elon
bring
Musk.
recreate
pick up
your
the
background
puppy and put him
photo,
in the
just-
camera. Make him meet the video. Oh, puppy's too big to eat the camera. Puppy's too big for pickup.
So Sanjira, how's your That Country coming?
It's going really, really good.
The only time
Yes,
when you'll
well-
find somebody who says their entry's going great is when they're not making one.
Yes,
it's going
That's true.
extremely well. I'll have it done in approximately 2024, and I'll get back to you then. I'll get back to
2024
you.
what?
Minutes.
Minutes, hours, days.
You know what? If you give away too much,
Gotta
then
keep
there's
them
nothing
guessing.
to look forward to. Again,
Exactly.
it's like my buddy Christopher Nilbog. Like, you have to keep the audience guessing. Otherwise, what do you have left? What is
Christopher
it? What is it?
Nilbog.
Christopher
Yeah.
Nilbog is very good.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. He's Christopher Nolan's little brother, but he had to change his name because he hit his head too hard, and so he only grew to be like 2'5". So he's a goblin. So he
It's
can't.
Goblin spelled backwards.
He's goblin time.
Yeah. I'm too tired. I'm not on the Sanjiro. I didn't get the profile picture. I didn't get the Christopher Nilbog. I'm just not on the same wavelength as Sanjiro today.
I don't know if I'm
Sanjira-
on my wavelength.
Sanjira
That's
is
so true.
Sanjira is the Christopher Nolan of the Discord of the podcast.
You know, that's right.
Yeah, his brain is on that higher level, and he's just planning all of his references and jokes and backwards and reverse and forwards at the
Yes,
same
yeah.
time.
He's in
That's
70
yeah.
chess.
Bravo, Nolan. Bravo.
Brain ain't
Bravo,
no working
man.
no good. Cause I was supposed to I had to wake up real early to get on that little Greyhound bus to go from Dayton to Cincinnati. But then the bus I was supposed to take just went and just didn't pick me up. And so apparently the thing that I found out is that if that happens, they have to buy you an Uber to get you to where you were going. So I just had to sit there for like an hour and a half with this little gentleman in this little Uber going from Dayton to Cincinnati. And I think my brain just isn't working no right. The car smelled weird, so yeah, I might have a little toxic
Feels
chemicals.
like a lot of people's days started off on a weird foot.
A weird little wiggle.
Yeah, I walked to and from the store this morning to pick up some groceries. And on the way back, when I got into my apartment complex, there was a guy walking up and down the parkway, and he was screaming something at the top of his lungs, and then
nice.
kept walking, and then he just kept screaming it again. It sounded like he was screaming "City of LA," but it was like really harsh and like saying it really angrily. So I don't think Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he kept saying it and walking down the street. And the mail person was like delivering mail at the same time, and he just kind of kept looking over his shoulder at the guy coming down his way. So he's kind of like picking up the pace, like, gotta get out of here.
Oh, there's nothing better than
Yeah.
someone being afraid that they'll be talked to. They'll have to talk to another human being. Nothing
Yeah,
better.
he literally got in his mail truck and kind of booked it right after that.
Whee!
So don't blame
The
him.
weirdest, one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, like in town once was I was walking away to work once, and there was these people like out, kind of like in the street. They were kind of like, I think they were for a charity or something, and they were kind of like talking to people. And this woman came out of the corner shop and shouted and pointed at him and said that he was Colonel Gaddafi, like really loudly.
You got him. How did you know my disguises?
He's back.
He's got me back.
2012, we finally found him.
I hope they find that little fella someday. That'll be so good.
Still waiting on Coney.
Yeah.
He should be popping up any day now.
Any day now, he'll be hopping up over in Pequot, Kansas, or something of that sort.
Yeah.
One of my favorite.
So,
yeah. Sure.
no, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say I really love the Saddam Hussein's like sort of bed meme. It's like his bedroom.
His little
Wait, what?
cot, his little bedroom, his little underground bedroom with his little tube, his little air tube. Yeah, that is the best.
Someone made like a mock of that out of Lego. The whole
that's my favorite.
Saddam's bunker. Yeah, it's so good.
You see, if I was a kid, if I was a 25-year-old me right now, I would actually really love to stay in that little bunker. I always like nice, cozy, little tight spaces, like going in the closet and then closing the door and playing my little Game Boy with Pokemon Sapphire. So put me in that little sit-down bedroom, please.
The thing is like, oh no, I was getting mixed up. I remember back during that whole era, newspapers are publishing like stories about what was it? Osama bin Laden's compound, and they made like these fake little graphs of like there's like 10 stories tall underground. There's bunkers, there's warheads under there.
There's doors,
roads. And it's like, no, that's completely fake.
No, he stayed in a bedroom watching RRR on his hard drive or something like that.
Yeah, he was playing Pokemon ROMs, literally. Other stuff.
He's playing the Pokemon Anime Girl mod on his Game Boy emulator.
He was watching he was watching the 100-hour playlist, Chris Chan
documentary film.
What else are you gonna do?
What else are you gonna do? You gotta pick something.
One thing I'll ask everybody: what is your favorite Thak memory?
Right. Was my first time doing one, so this one.
There you go.
There you go. You make memories right off of the cuff. I think mine, the one that I always think about, and I feel like the VOD might still be out there. I think it was Thak 2018. Where my whole thing was like, all right, I'm at my mom's place in Washington. My is getting green screen. At my mom's place in Washington. I'm taking the plane back to Ohio. I'll get back to Ohio at like 1 a.m. So I'm gonna write the script and then get everybody to record the audio and stuff, so that when I get back to my place, I can start animating at 1, and then I'll be done by 7. And then I go and I start animating. I build like a little tree or something like that. And then like I put the little character on the tree. I spent all this time making this stupid little tree. And then like the first frame I do, the whole entire set, like I just go to like manipulate whatever it was. Then the whole set just collapsed on me immediately live on my Twitch stream. And I just said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And then I go to like sit back in my chair and like put my head in my hands, and then I sit too far back, and then I just fell on the floor. Oh,
and then
that is the most Sajiro story.
Yeah, and then your whole Lego set fell on you, and you got trapped under there for like
I said,
8 hours before help arrived.
Yeah, I was about to say, then you cut your own hand off.
Yeah, I got 127 hours to my own little house under my little
Yeah.
Lego set. Yeah, so I don't know. That one always sticks to me. You know, sometimes the best laid plans don't go good. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, chat. Keep it in mind, because you never know.
Sorry, be right back.
Okay.
Oh, he has to
Does
think
anyone
about
else have one?
have a funny thacky memory. Big thack me. What about you, Sean? You've had a couple. You've had a couple facts going on. You've had a couple
Well,
THACs.
the strangest thing that
Some
happened that
memories.
sticks out in my mind. It's not a very long story or anything, but like, I think I probably was making the Great Quick Cook Off in like 2018. I don't know. It wasn't that long ago, but like, doing a tech film, obviously being up all night working on it, and then at some point I was like looking out a window at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and just like 2 roads over, there's just a house on fire, and I was like, that's weird.
What?
It just felt
I
like
just went from 0 to 100
only
real
during
fast.
tech, like tech is just weird. Like it just feels like a bunch of weird things happen when it's tech. So I was like, yeah, this is really strange.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm here to see this
like
because it's tech.
You looked over and you felt proud because that was the fruit of your labor.
Yeah, that was you messing up the electrical grid, staying up all night with your freaking webcam, with your
Yes.
C910 webcam on. Sent a little spark through the grid. You ruined someone's life. You ruined a poor Irish family's life.
It might have been like an empty house. Like I don't think anyone was actually
I don't
like
think it's
living there.
empty. Oh, okay, like just vacant. Yeah.
One of the classic empty houses in the neighborhood.
One of those classic little vacant lots where nobody lives. Yeah. Those little barbarian houses. Yeah, where.
You
The
should
barbecue
remember.
houses.
I mean, I don't know if I don't want to kind of delve too much into this because it's not really a thack related story. But I remember when I lived in
Love it.
Bulgaria. I lived like this sort of like rural area, which is like in the country,
Oh, there you go.
and there was also like abandoned buildings and stuff there. Like the house like kind of like directly sort of like it was sort of like we had this garden, and there was like a house that was kind of like to the right of our
Yeah.
house that was sort of front, but it was kind of like to the side of the garden, and that was abandoned. It was attached to another house, and our neighbors used to make like alcohol in
In the
in the
abandoned
kind of
house.
yeah, like just like next to it.
Making their
And there was a
moonshine.
one night there was a massive explosion, and their house caught fire. And it was like the house it was attached to and their barn, and
Oh.
it took them about like 2 hours for the ambulance the like firefighters to arrive because they wouldn't listen to us because we were speaking
You're like, I don't believe you.
because we couldn't speak Bulgarian. They just hung up on us, so they had to
Oh.
get the mayor
Moral
of
of the
the
story: don't drink, kids.
Don't
mayor of the
drink and don't
village.
be Bulgarian.
We had to go to the mayor of the village to then ring up to drive over to the nearest fire station to get the
Somebody
firefighters.
get the mayor. The distillery's on fire. Oh god. I like
But yeah,
that. I like every
not
part about that. I love it when things explode. I love when big things explode. And it makes someone go, oh jeez.
but yeah, that's not really a
Yeah,
fact-related story. So
yeah, I was gonna say I was trying to think, do I have any good tech stories that has more of like sort of funny connection to other people in the community? Because like I don't know, tech is nice. Like tech always has this
Nice.
there's just this feeling around it. Like you can just feel the buzz.
The
Yeah.
closest this isn't very funny, but I remember hold on, my video's like frozen. Oh, there we go. No, I remember that this isn't funny at all, but there were multiple times in which we witnessed in our Skype group a couple people like emotionally breaking down at the end of THAC, like having genuine meltdowns of like I'm not gonna finish and just like losing it. There's one who probably like didn't really recover in terms of their brick filming career, but
It was me.
That's what changed everything for Sanjira. He just
Yes, yeah.
hasn't been sane
Maybe.
since.
Maybe. I'd have to think. I don't know if I don't know if I ever had a big like. Well, actually, no. Okay, because I finished. No, for me, when I was starting, it was every other year. I'd finish, I wouldn't finish. I'd finish, I wouldn't finish. So.
The ghost of whoever the brick filmer I was referencing is haunting me and did not want me to finish
I do not
that
approve.
story. No, but yeah, because it was tough for little 15-year-old us's.
Yeah.
When we didn't finish, we were just like so upset.
I
Emotionally destroyed.
the most kind of like distressed I got was SAC 2018, and I I think it was going quite smoothly because this time was the first time I really wanted to commit, and I wanted to. I think I went to bed for like a couple of hours, but I I was really working on it, as much as I could. I got to like I think I had about 8 hours, like about 4 or 5 hours left, and I only had like one little bit to animate, and I was like, I didn't really put a lot of effort into editing as much back then, so I was like, it probably won't take me like long to edit. So I was like, I've almost finished. I'm really kind of like relaxing. I'm kind of like listening to music. It's all going well. Then my computer crashes, and the software that I was using at the time, it kind of if your computer crashed when it would do that, it would corrupt the actual project file, which meant that like I had kind of like I was stuck then. I had to kind of get all of the files, the raw kind of like images and import into a new thing. That took me like way too long. And then all of a sudden I've lost it and it's like, you know, I, I I got to like about 22 the deadline and I was trying to, like edit it and I think by the time I just finished it, it had hit the deadline. I was like,
What the fuck? Why isn't this working? No. I lost
oh yeah, that's another
audio.
thing as well. So the other complication was I had
We
exported
can
it. And it
hear
was,
you.
oh really?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Can I hear anybody?
We can hear you.
There we go. Okay, what the heck? I lost my freaking audio.
Wait,
That's going in the highlights video.
What's going on? I don't
You
know.
just turn yourself into a unicorn for a second.
I don't even know what was happening. I thought I turned my camera off, and then I was like, "Oh, I got the audio fixed," and it's like, "No, it's not fixed. What the heck? Oh gosh!
Yeah, I
Oh
gotta say,
jeez! Oh,
the same thing happened last year. I love how last year and this year in the tag streams, there's always somebody who's like too busy with their entry, so like they're just muted and like they're just you got one person on camera working away the whole time, and we're all just sitting here doing nothing.
it shows that the community is alive and well.
We
So,
have at least one
Alive
person
from
who's still
people who
making
aren't
it syllable.
entering.
yeah. What's the progress update, Storm? How's it going? What's the business?
So, my entry was mostly just a beginning and an end, and then if I had time, do a cool part in the middle. And
That's the
I'm
way.
doing the end now. So
That's a good idea.
hopefully when I'm done with this, then I can get the cool part in the middle.
Yeah. And it's like worst comes to
because
worst,
then-
you got the film.
Yeah, if worst comes to worst, you can just dial it back a bit. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Big,
But
big.
this is my 4th year, I think, doing THAC. My second time turning it in. The other 2 years I didn't finish or I got too extravagant with it.
That's a pretty good ratio, though.
Yeah.
I think that's better than mine. Like one to one, basically. It's like
Yeah.
that's a good ratio.
I remember. Was it your entry last year where there was like that guy who was like he kept saying like magical world or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't make much sense. I don't think I had the story going for me. So I didn't think it was a winner. I just thought I wanted to have something finished.
I liked
Which
it.
is a good
I
way to
liked
put it.
I gotta check my own ratio now because for me, like the first 2 I
Let's see.
attempted, I failed both times because of computer problems. So
Oh.
yeah, That always felt like a big deal to me at the time. Like, oh, tech is cursed. My computer always explodes during tech.
I fail.
I was
Let's
like, oh my
see
god, I
here.
finally actually entered one on my third attempt. But I think after that, I think I've just about managed on all the ones I've attempted, but I haven't really attempted all that many since.
Oh, it's
I
funny.
think the first one. Oh, go ahead.
I always worry that when I start, I'm sort of like going into tangents, but it's sort of kind of sort of related to like stuff. But have you ever had this thing where like you just feel like really superstitious about a certain thing, like a song or something, where like something bad has to happen whenever you hear it? Because I had this thing with an album. It was like an REM album. I think it was Up, the like album from like 1998, and I used to listen to it quite a bit. And one time I was listening to it, my computer just sort of died, and it was just like completely dead for like an hour, and then suddenly it came on. And then another time I was listening to, I think it was literally around the same point. It was like the same song. I was listening to it on my because it was a CD. I put it on my PlayStation, and the TV just completely died, and like it didn't recover. And it's like, what is it with this song, this album, and like
What is happening?
I don't think I've listened
just
to that album since actually, because I've just been worried that something's gonna happen.
It's kind of like how I bought a copy of Persona 5 for the PS4, and when we had started playing it, it had bricked my PS4. Or I don't think the game necessarily did that, but like something caused the PS4 to just finally die, which sucks because that was the PS4 I had PT installed on.
No!
So go figure. But ever since then, I've gotten a new PS4, but I haven't attempted Persona 5 again since then. It's just like
it's gotta do something. Yeah, it's got
I don't know.
got bad jubies.
But I was gonna say I think the first fact I attempted was the snake ones. I don't think I attempted other facts before that.
That's crazy because weren't you like a judge on TAC 1?
I think so.
According to the wiki, that's true.
Okay. Well, I trust your judgment better than me. Then after that,
yeah, you've been around since for so long, but only tried TAC 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one was like the guy that gets the butt implants. I forget which one that was.
TAC 10, was it?
Yeah. And then I think there was only one time I attempted an entry that I didn't finish. I had built like the set for it and stuff, but I just didn't get around to animating for whatever reason. And then after that was Mounted Manlet. So most of the time I just kind of like observe in the chaos and stuff.
You have an incredible ratio of first place wins to entry number in total.
What is it? Wait, so it's what, like 3? Like
2 first place winners
first
and
place.
then 1 other entry.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
My trick is not to enter that often to this contest.
That helps. Yeah. There were a lot of years that I ill-advisedly entered. I think mine is like 4 successful entries to like 6 failures or something like that. Although Baseball Superstar, I mean, like that one won in my heart. That one was done in time and then won the contest and was given many Nobel Prizes in my heart. So I think that one brings up like, yeah. Thank you.
It's a beautiful speech.
Thank you.
I just looked up mine. I think I've entered 6 times, and I think I've attempted. This will be
75.
About that. No, I think I failed about 5 times. So I think I've entered more than I've failed, but not by much.
That's that's incredibly consistent of at least trying.
Yeah.
I think last year there's been 2 years in which I haven't tried. 1 year I was on vacation, and then 1 year or last year I had to work. So I think those are the 2 years where I didn't try.
I just counted. I counted my own, and I've entered 5 and I've failed 2. So
pretty good.
I've attempted less than you.
I've entered 4 and failed 2, I think.
Wow, you're doing well already.
I think
I'm
like
entering my
some of
first one today.
Nice. I think my second back was probably one of the worst videos I've ever made. So transition.
That's usually how it goes for the
it was,
first one, though.
There was a second one. I think the first one I actually quite like, but the second one in 2017 it was the in transition theme, and it was a transition taps. I don't know if you remember that one. It was like I think it was like the first entry in the list, and it's just like two people dancing.
That's good.
Literally it.
And it has 75,000 views on YouTube, I assume.
I always loved how this is kind of a tangent, but I always loved how the dancing was animated in the Monty Python and the Holy Grail video by Spiderface.
I've been
Or
thinking
just
about
like
that. I
the
need to
tight
watch
close up of the Lego minifig feet and just doing
the live action.
Yes,
Yeah,
I always appreciate that.
we were talking about that one in particular earlier on the stream, like how it feels like it's having more fun being a recreation done in Lego rather than just trying to be like a direct one-to-one of the original.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
have fun with it.
You gotta have a little goof.
Funny because I remember when we were talking to Spite Your Face, one of the things that I was really interested about was the fact that like in the recreation you've got the parrot instead of the cat, and this is because they couldn't animate the cat being squashed, so they had to just have like a which is funny because you think of like the kind of you think of like Brickfilms and parrots is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like even though that's from before the Citizen of the Year, but it's almost like a Brickfilm reference retroactively.
Citizen of the Year transcends space and time.
and
It's
time.
like Interstellar, where it's like it affects the past and the present and the future. It's that influential. Was it
okay?
they couldn't animate the cat being squished because it was too violent for Lego, or is because they couldn't figure out how to like pull that off?
They couldn't animate it like in a way that because you had the solid cat piece, so it wasn't they couldn't really do it in a way that made sense. I think.
Yeah, they couldn't realistically animate a cat dying and getting squished and all its guts coming out in Lego.
Yeah,
it's still like that's an unsolved problem.
You just do a little replacement animation, like swap it out with a little tile or whatever for like one frame to get stepped on or something.
You have to do it for
what
real.
They needed a hydraulic press and then frame by frame just crush it down even more and then just do replacement animation that way.
I would like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But get like 28 different Lego cats and then one tiny little hydraulic press and do the real replacement.
Come to think of it, it would be funny. You know how sometimes people do like a guy gets run over and then suddenly he's a pancake on the ground, like he's a clay pancake.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get a minifigure in a hydraulic press and press the minifigure down to being completely flat. And use that as their minifig pancake.
Minifigures have been burned and like not shot through. Maybe, I don't know. Or like, when they get like shot, like a drill goes through their face. They need to like genuinely pancake a minifigure and use that.
I'm like almost certain there's a hydraulic press video where they do that to like
I've seen a hydraulic press video where they do that.
I've seen that. It's just I've never seen it incorporated into a Brickfilm.
Into a video.
I've seen them where they try to press the fig and the fig just flies away. And like
I just watched that one. Yeah, I was trying to find a link to a hydraulic press video, and that was the one I just watched. I'll link it anyway. But that one's good. It's like a jump scare. It comes like right at the camera.
Here's a question for you, Penta. Hammock on Pictures asks, the Citizen of the Year, sadly, on Watson's website on the Wayback Machine, you cannot access the behind-the-scenes photos of Citizen of the Year. Is there anywhere they are saved?
I'll look into it, but I suspect that I have looked before. If I haven't got them already, then probably not.
No. They're all up here.
Watson's site wouldn't have been very well archived. Usually if we manage to save behind the scenes pictures from back then, some people's websites are more popular, like Chris Salt, Oblong Pictures. So their sites would be extensively archived. because they had more films, like more opportunities for links to be passed around and all that. So archive.org would crawl them more opportunities to. But yeah, oftentimes if we save images from back then, it's because they are hosted on Brickshelf, which is still online. And yeah.
It
We'll
always
find him
sucks.
someday.
It sucks trying to look up behind the scenes stuff from that era, especially photos that are linked on like Moj.com, which is like an offshoot of Brickshelf, and it's just completely dead. You're not gonna find any archived pictures from there, which sucks because I had like, it was like Brickshelf tried to branch off into like a regular photo hosting service for non-Lego stuff. I had like drawn a bunch of comics around that time that I uploaded there, but they're gone now.
I mean, like whenever we wanted to share an image on the forum that wasn't a Lego image, we'd all upload it to a Madge account.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hubris.
Plenty of our stuff that we'd like to have the images back. It's all gone now.
I'm guessing Kevin Locke doesn't have a backup anywhere.
I wouldn't know, of course.
Okay.
I've never tried to contact him.
Oh, really? Okay.
I figure, he's not going to hand over people's files that, like, they're not his file. Like, he would, I can't just say, hey, there's some Brickfilms that are in a locked folder here. I want them. Can you give them to me? He's not.
Yeah,
he's not going to fork over those files that are behind a locked folder. It'd be up to the person who actually owns the files.
Technicalities.
Stinky dude.
I did one time. I tried asking Jason if Jason might be willing to contact him to get some. There are a couple of films that are on Jason's Brickshelf in a locked folder, and it might contain missing films that I want. So, and see, he knew Kevin Locke in real life because they're both from like the DC area, like sort of Brickfilming, or not Brickfilming, like Lego fans online. They had Brickfest around there. Like they were pretty focused around that area, the early crew. So like, a lot of them knew each other in real life, and he told me that like Kevin Locke, when they'd have like meetups, and Kevin Locke would always approach him and be like, you know, with your Brickfilm website, and everyone's uploading these AVI files, and they're just like destroying the bandwidth and the server space of Brickshelf.
Delightful. All these AVIs.
It's made for image files only, but then the Brickfilmers started putting video files on there and just destroyed the place.
As we do, yeah.
At some point,
cool.
they made it so that you weren't allowed to share video files. Like any video file was just taken down. But they seem to have all reappeared since. Like I've saved a lot of Brickfilms, but they're still on Brickshelf.
Nice. Where we keep combing, we keep scooping for little droplets.
I was just on there the other day, just kind of looking around to see if I could find anything weird.
And did you?
Couple stuff. Saw some like frames from a Brickfilm I hadn't seen in like 10 plus years and revisited.
You've got a lot of those that you just like don't remember. You're like, oh.
Yeah. It's like I hadn't thought about it at all since then. And then you see it again and it's like, oh yeah, I remember where I was when this was a thing.
I remember.
Locked away in the memory palace.
In the memory hole. Yeah. My earlobe.
I wonder if we should drag somebody in. It's been a while since we've grabbed somebody.
Well, I'm probably going to head out because I'm starving and I'm probably going to die soon. So
I get that.
Yep. This has been awesome. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean it when I said like I started a minimal amount of animation, and the second something went wrong, I was like, you know what? I'd rather just be on the podcast hanging out. Like I'm not dealing with this. So no, this has been awesome. This has been a lot of fun. So
thanks so much for joining us. And
of course.
Yeah.
Nice. Good luck, everybody who's entering. Keep on thacking on. You guys are gonna do awesome. I look forward to watching you guys' entries. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks.
I hope to enter next year, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
I say that every year.
You sell hope.
I always hold out hope that I'll feel up to it next year.
Okay, we'll do this. I think one of the things that made it difficult for me was my my Lego is not sorted. I have some shelves. So this time next year, if I may invite myself on the podcast next year, the live stream, if assuming that it happens, hold me to task and say, did you have all your Lego sorted by the next year? Hold me to task.
Write that down.
Hopefully that'll keep me to task and
Quite the undertaking.
to save myself the embarrassment of embarrassing myself in front of the whole community.
Yes.
Yes.
There's been 0 other times that you've embarrassed yourself.
None. Not even on this specific live stream.
On this stream. No, none of times has happened. Never.
Yes. So hopefully I'll get to enter next year. Who knows? We'll see. Yes, and here's hoping that Thack beats Brawl's record for entries. Let's hope it happens, baby.
It's going to be like an endless contest now between the two of us, isn't it?
I hope so. That would be great. I will gladly concede.
Yeah. You know, I almost feel like should I say this? But is there anything to be said for that we don't want it to get too big?
This is true. Well, we'd have to have a bigger infrastructure of moderators
that can answer questions.
Yeah, I mean, we'll rise to the challenge, assuming that happens.
Chris, real quick before you go, I have one question.
Yes.
Well, 2 actually.
Okay.
First question: what's a letter element? And 2, what's the color element?
What is that?
The brick element. What is that?
What is Lego?
Why is
Lego? Goodbye. I don't know these answers. Ask Ahmad. Goodbye.
Wait a second.
I was just thinking recently, like, where did the phrase mod element come from?
Yeah, what is that?
It just seems to be something that David.
Why don't you know that?
Yeah, wait a minute.
That's the thing you know.
I know.
You should know.
I've tried to look it up, and it's like, as far as I can tell, David West just started out calling them that from the very beginning, and then it's just stuck. Like,
I don't know. I'm just used to it. It doesn't come across as weird.
Well, everybody is, But it isn't so you think about it.
It's a weird thing, because it's like, you kind of think to yourself, like, is this something that people say outside of Thack, or is it not? Like, it just seems like a thing.
Like, is there any?
It's a real Putin knife scenario.
Is it actually a thing that kind of like exists outside of Thack? The concept of mod elements. The idea of having, you have to have something in every shot. Like, is that a
concept? Sure, but I've never heard the phrase mod element elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because
we'll have to dig.
We keep going around like, oh, these are the mod elements, and then everyone's like, what's a mod element? And we're like, what? You don't know what a mod element is?
You don't know what a mod element is.
But then it's like, oh yeah, that's a nonsense phrase that means nothing to most people.
It's like a mod. You think it's like a moderator, like a.
Yeah. I mean, from context clues, you could kind of understand what it is, but I can understand why some people will be like, I don't understand. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? It's possible that it's like a shortened version of modified element, because I mean, okay, that sounds pretty obvious, but in the initial, I've been researching TAC 1 because I want to do a video about the history of TAC. The initial TAC 1 discussion, the first concept for how to prove that films made 24 hours was like a brick that had been like modified, like damaged or something, literally a modified brick. So it might mean like modified element as in Lego element.
Yeah. I could see that. That's specific enough. But then it just sticks, and it's like divorced from its original context almost completely.
Dudes, Ed Bound's about to join.
Oh.
Hey.
Look what the cat.
Eddie Pischetti. Oh no, we're crossing the streams. We're crossing them.
Alright, hello everybody.
Hello, look at you, your audio.
Yo.
I'm just gonna make sure everybody can hear you.
Can't have the 2 most popular fact streams combined like this.
Wait a second, that's not allowed.
I don't even think they can hear you right now.
Crossover episode.
Finally, we have viewers.
1 second. Wait a second. I don't think they can hear you. I think I gotta set this up still.
Okay, go.
All right, say something.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
They can hear you.
Oh, God.
The dongo,
just-
my belongo.
we just boosted our viewers by like 10 times. This is scary.
Everybody, this
Ow.
is.
Yeah,
This
we
is,
really
Let's
gotta
be
be-
careful what we say.
You don't have to be that
That's
careful.
not me.
They were literally just in my
Wow.
chat saying "come ocean" a billion times.
Yeah, all right. I can dig with this. I can get down with this vibe. I like that.
So
I
we I actually have a question. Maybe one of you guys can help fill us in. So
can.
let me just read it out loud. Calvin Brown Animations asks, do you have any tips for animating straight ahead? Like, how do you do with stop motion? I've only done pose to pose recently, and I want to do a project in straight ahead.
I feel like a lot of that is really just kind of like, just kind of getting used to it. I think it feels like a non-answer, but I think you just kind of like have to. Well, I guess for one, it can just be a lot of like planning ahead. Like, oh, I roughly want to hit here, like around this frame, and then like hit here at this frame. I think a lot of planning can help, but I think at this point for me, it's like, for me myself, is mainly just kind of feeling it out and then just like doing it. Because I think once you just do it enough, I feel like you kind of get like this little sixth sense about it, or some such like that. So just kind of roll with it, I guess. But I don't know what anybody else thinks. Just me in my head.
That's pretty much my answer too. You get kind of a feeling for the timing and stuff when you do it enough times. Yeah, you get a sense of how long to hold this movement or how many frames to use for this action, and then you just kind of roll with it. You get in kind of like a trance-like state almost sometimes.
Yes.
If you really get invested in what you're animating.
I feel like I don't know if anyone else feels this, but sometimes it almost feels like the figures want to go off in a certain direction.
Yeah,
like there's a path.
Yeah,
sometimes my Lego is just swimming alive in my finger. I can't believe
you might have had something in mind. You had something in mind at the start, but as it unfolds, you're like, "Oh no, actually, it has to go over here."
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I'm just fibbing.
I have this
There's
kind of
lots
weird
of times where I've made mistakes animated, and I just kind of lean into the mistakes and see where it takes me to.
That's good.
Like if a minifig can't hold a pose in a certain position, if he starts leaning back the other way, sometimes I'll just let him do that and just kind of see where the animation goes from there. So sometimes the experimental or the it's kind of like, I don't know, you just kind of mess around with it and see where it goes. It's fun. Part of the fun.
I kind of feel like it's weird for me that the way that I sort of approach doing stuff nowadays, it's weird that it almost feels like I just don't think about it anymore. Like everything just feels like I'm just sort of moving it, and that it's just like I'm not even thinking about like the principles or anything. It just feels like I'm naturally just sort of like I'm gonna move it this. I'm now gonna move it like, if it's like someone talking or something, I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna nudge him this direction, and it just seems to just work. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Definitely with dialogue, with minifigs, you've done it so many times that you can just kind of turn off your brain while you're animating that for the most part. Except in cases where like the dialogue is like extra zany or something intense is happening, but a lot of the time you could just kind of do it on autopilot. At least in my experience, for sure.
I think like you want to kind of like, I mean, you can keep it quite simple, but I feel like you want to also make sure that it's you've got it so that it's like it's very specifically synced in with the dialogue, so that because you can tell, I think, when it is like flowing with the dialogue, and it's sort of like you got got moments where it's like exaggerated and
Stop motion answers are always so crazy because I really can't think of anything else other than a lot of practice and a lot of experience, and you kind of just get a feel for it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty much the answer to all the questions, really.
The thing is, it's like
that's not satisfying.
Kind of, it's that nobody wants to hear it, but it's true.
Yeah. It's such a hard thing to answer.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
it's like
it's like how some people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're so good at art," and you're like, "Yeah, it just took a lot of practice, and I was good." And they're like, "No, you were born this way. You were born to be an artist."
Or if they ask what programs you use,
like, give me the shortcuts.
That's a secret.
Oh, the question that people always ask that I never know the answer to is how long does it take to make a brick film? I'm like,
Depends on the length.
Yeah.
how tasty? Like it really
As
just
long as
depends.
it takes.
Yeah,
That's the only
Mhm.
answer.
That's the best answer, I think.
it can take 24
Yeah.
hours. It can take 3 years.
Now is the time for
take
teeny
10
little
years.
micro brick film.
Yes,
Team
they're
fact.
coming back in a big way.
They're really coming back, and they are.
Come
They
back
are.
of a
This is
century.
true.
Oh shit.
Come back over here, baby.
So you guys doing that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing tech.
I'm observing.
These are our representatives. These are these
Yeah.
are our troops on the field.
Yeah.
And then I'm the little general. I'm the little general in his nice little cottage side resort.
Yeah.
In his little bubble bath, yeah. Digging little bugs out in between my toes with my little tweezers and such, yeah. It's a pretty good life, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Very eloquently put, yes.
Yes, yeah,
Digging bugs.
Like a picking bugs out of my toes, yeah.
Digging bugs.
Oh, this is my skater, and this is a beater. There we go. They good. That's the thing that I love about stop motion, slightly going back, is that like I don't know, anytime I've moved into another medium, I always end up going like I don't know, when I've done 3D, like I'll do like the pose to pose stuff, but like I feel like I always have the most fun when I'm doing like basically just trying to do stop motion in CG, because that always it always makes me feel more surprised, and it makes me just feel like, even if I'm not like proud of it, it always I always end up being a little more proud of it. Like, I don't know, whenever you post just like it's kind of okay, and maybe it's because I haven't done that enough to really like know like how to cultivate that in the same way that I think I do with straight ahead or stop motion and stuff. I don't know, it's just nice. Like, I think that's the other thing. I think is just kind of like, even if you're not like that good, or you don't think you're that good, you just have to kind of just like do it. And then if you like kind of don't like it, you should just keep going, because you probably will like it in like 5 days or 5 months or something like that. You just won't realize it yet. You know, you just gotta. It's all about little happy accidents.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Every
it's just,
project's a learning experience.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it is literally years and years of practice, and for a lot of people. And I think it's just a feeling of like, no matter what, because you're going to start out and you're not going to be like an absolute pro, but you've just got to first and foremost enjoy what you're doing and have fun, and enjoy it, because if you enjoy it enough, you're going to then wants to keep learning, and the actual process of learning is going to be something that you're going to really enjoy, rather than something you're going to have to feel like it's not like work, or like schoolwork or something. It's like this actual thing that you're really kind of like feeling proud of as you're going on, because you're having fun. Yeah. Ooh.
I just my bad. I didn't mean to leave you
Oh,
out
that's
of
okay.
the
I actually
of the
haven't really
thing.
been talking much.
But yeah, I'm just making my film.
Ooh.
And by the way, my as you were talking, then my internet died for like about 5 seconds.
What's going on? Their computer trick.
I think I
Ed,
still
is
live.
that Ed, is that your microphone, the glowing red thing?
The Globy.
Oh yeah.
Your old Joe
cool.
Rogan microphone, the old JR.
It illuminates my face.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Wait, for real? What the hell? Someone just said
Only a
that
little bit.
his internet went off
Ed,
too.
what are your opinions on Terkesterone? Please tell us.
On who?
On Terkesterone, never mind. It's a Joe Rogan thing that I've heard he talks about.
I've never seen an actual episode of Joe Rogan.
I haven't either. I've just heard tell. I've heard pray.
I've just seen the clips.
We
Here and
know
there.
what you're doing over there.
We kind of know the things you're saying underneath your old chinny chin chin.
It's RQ-Nick's birthday. It's also Random Gamer Memer's birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday to them.
Wow.
Today's
The birthday
January
random
7th.
I'm gonna
Literally.
need you both to go in a little trial by combat to decide whose
Yeah.
real
Whose
birthday it is
real
today.
birthday?
Yeah, if you share a
Oh,
birthday
Who's
with somebody, you gotta
actually
kill them.
born? Yes, yeah.
We should do that thing where someone tries to start singing "Happy Birthday" with like they're like and they wait for the other people to join in, but they never do. So it just
And
kind
they
of
just keep
awkward.
holding a
Just like,
note.
Do people do that?
yeah, I see.
You've been in some strange situations too, Weaver. That's weird.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
mean,
regular.
you ever been to like a birthday party and like everyone's sitting around the cake and they're like, okay, it's time to sing the birthday song, and it's like, all right, who's gonna start? And it's like, and then
I'm always the one who
And then
starts.
nobody does.
I don't hold the note. I just start singing out.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, what?
Like,
Who
you
holds
just
the
started.
note?
Why would you hold it?
So weird.
You gotta
Don't
wait for other
say
people
it.
to join.
I was saying music teacher would do a vocal cord coach.
Because then everybody's
Screaming-
like, all right, where's the P? Like come
Yeah.
on, finish.
Where's the
it.
P? I'm at a birthday
Where's-
party. Where's the P?
Come on, where's the P here,
Pay
please?
for the P.
I need my birthday jar, please.
Screaming
Oh.
Chicken also says it's my grandma's birthday today, so we
Happy
got a
birthday,
real rumble.
Granny.
Put him in the arena. Come
Put her
on.
in
put
the
him
ring.
Yeah,
Put him in the
We don't discriminate here.
No,
dude,
no,
I feel
we're
like a
not
grandma
ageist.
on her birthday she gets like a power up, you know. I made it
She
this
gets
long.
more
You think I'm gonna-
powerful.
You think I'm gonna
Yeah,
freaking just end it here?
Yeah. She gets a little amulet of strength. She gets a little Dark Souls Estus. She gets an extra Estus flask for the.
She
What
becomes
does she
It
the-
drop?
reminds me of that one meme where a guy's like, "Can you guys please pray for my grandpa? He's not sick or anything, but he's getting too powerful." I forget how.
It's
how it
like
went.
stop praying for my grandpa. He's getting
Yeah,
too
it's
strong.
Please.
Stop. You're doing too
Good.
much.
Yeah, it's
Give
just
grandma a
the,
claymore.
That'd be pretty good. More like a Lego more, because I'm not using clay.
Oh,
The
I
high-
get it.
the hierarchy of power. It's the hierarchy of power is about to change.
Yeah.
The hierarchy of power in bricksinmotion.com is about to change.
That's a quote from Ben's favorite movie, Black Adam. Right, Ben?
Right?
Right?
It's a Mighty Mouse piece right there.
Who is the best Black Adam?
I like The Rock as Black Adam.
God. Were there other ones?
No,
What about the one in Injustice 2?
that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
video game.
One.
I like the
Oh,
one
it's
in
a
the
room.
Bears is better.
Doesn't count.
Actually, Fortnite's
Oh,
better.
so somebody's hard work, voice talent, animation, modeling, texturing, UV wrapping, whatever, all those things, it doesn't count because it's a video game?
Yeah.
Yep.
How rude.
Explain Avatar 2.
Ooh.
Avatar 2 is a 2022 motion picture film by James Jimmy Cameron.
Well, you know,
It's about.
I don't think Black Adam's
stuff.
in that either, so it doesn't count.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet. He might be in there.
Could
be,
be, yeah.
That's true.
Hey, Corey, spoil it, is he?
There's someone in like Avatar 2 that looked very similar to The Rock because
I was
he
about
just
to
had
say
like
that.
bald hair.
There was a picture I saw on
Yeah.
Twitter, and they were like, "Is this The Rock?" And I was like,
I saw in
"Is
cinemas
it?"
yesterday. It shows I was YouTube video.
By
I think I'll also go because I'm like these audio, like my audio is super bad. Not bad, but like the way I have it all set up in OBS is like a spaghetti mess of wiring and everything.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
keep actually muting you guys.
Well, thanks for making the
I'll say it's a
cameo appearance
compliment.
anyway,
yes.
and
Yeah.
thanks so
Cameo
much for all the
appearance.
free promo.
Yes, if you guys want to go hang out, feel free to. It's on William's stream, LTW Studios at YouTube.com.
Yeah, and it
And
also is
also,
back
if
on
you're
again now. It
interested
was
in
it was
Brickfilms,
briefly it was-
www.youtube.com/watch?v.
Yep.
No, wait, this is Ed's stream. Never
Oh my
mind.
gosh.
Oh shit.
You'll find it.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Alrighty.
Let's
Later,
That's
man.
it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
They-
Bye.
I was briefly offline because my internet's being really bad.
Only on VAC.
That's never happened to me. I've always had perfect internet every day. I've never had the internet cut out on me as I was in business meetings either.
Ah, yes.
It's never embarrassed me. ever.
Actually,
Yeah, there was this
hmm.
one time I was doing some work for Stupid Buddy Studios. I was doing some storyboards for them, and we were having a meeting over Zoom, and then just I was talking to the director, and my connection just died. And so I kept trying to fix it for like 10 minutes. And so eventually I just had to grab my phone and just continue the meeting from there on my cellular service. So I was like, oh, making a great first impression.
Guy's bad Wi-Fi. We can't hire him anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is really weird. I don't know.
I just remembered that I ought to do my part in accepting some entries. Yeah, there's entries rolling in already.
Nice. About
not
time for me to head out anyway. Gotta drink some coffee. But
Yeah, I think
I
we
want to say
might
real
actually be offline. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's a good time to just sort of wrap things up. It's
Okay.
getting late
Yeah,
for
I
me
think
anyway.
I'm ahead now as
Yeah.
well. I've been here for I think nearly 5 hours.
I want to say
Okay,
something real
yeah.
quick.
Yeah, we're on
You
Oh, yeah, of
guys
course.
earlier were talking about the Brickfilms Out of Context Twitter account.
Oh yeah.
I was the guy that ran the other one.
Oh,
I knew
yeah.
it.
That was
That
it.
was my
Okay, yeah,
theory in
all
my
right.
head. I was
Yes.
like, it's probably
Okay.
Jawas.
Yeah.
I announced like the massive plot twist during THAC 2023.
Dun dun.
Dun,
But no,
dun.
you're doing good work on your account over there. I've been enjoying
Thanks.
it. So
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think I stopped with my account because it just like I had too many other things going on.
It's hard
and
to keep
yeah,
up with sometimes. I gotta schedule posts beforehand.
yeah,
Like one day out of the week, I schedule them.
yeah. I was for a while I was looking at learning Python to kind of automate uploading clips, but I just kind of like got distracted by other things. But
Yeah,
I'm glad you're keeping the carrying the torch. So
trying my best.
yeah. But oh, my dog wants to go play. So yeah, it's nice talking with y'all. And
Of course.
good luck
Yeah.
with your entry. And
Oh,
yeah.
and
Listen,
also
talk to you.
one more thing actually, Chihuahua,
Yeah.
do try and support. You've got a fundraiser, haven't you, for your dog?
Oh yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
bringing that up. Yeah. I have a that's my younger dog right now, but I have an older dog who's turning 10 this year. And she recently we discovered a mast cell tumor on it. We had some like blood work done at the vet, and radar. And yeah, I'm just picking up some extra commissions and stuff to help kind of pay for the surgery to get it removed. So if anyone wants to go check it out, it's in if you go to my Twitter or Instagram, there's like a link tree there and you could like check it out. But yeah, dogs, man. They could be pricey. But we love them. They're like our kids, so
Oh yeah.
but
Help
thanks
out
for the
if you
plug.
can.
Yeah, that's what I'd quickly plug that. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us. It's yeah, really
It was an honor to be
good
here.
time.
Yeah, it was
And
a
obviously,
blast.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was fun.
we got obviously congratulations to the winner of THAC 2022. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was so fun. Wish I could have done it again this year, but hopefully I'll be able to surprise you guys next time and bring out another entry when I'm more settled in. We're coming up on like a full year since we've lived here, and I still haven't sorted out all my bricks yet. So it's like I eventually I need to get around to that. But
I gotta say, there's one thing I
yeah.
wanted to actually say as well is there's one joke in I think it's this Sherlock Holmes video that still cracks me up so much when you've got the walking stick and it goes and like I remember someone commented like I don't understand why it does that and you said there's
When
a
I
bee
was younger, I
inside.
didn't get it, but now I got it.
You just
Yeah.
you just said I think when you said there's a bee inside the cane.
I don't remember making that comment, but that's pretty good. But yeah, yeah, if I had made that film now, I probably would have come up with a different joke, but I still like how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with that movie. I tried to make that joke as subtle as possible, but it's still very crude. Yeah. Cool. Well, great. Good luck, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
Thank you very much. No, it was great talking to you all.
Yeah, likewise. All right, bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's it. Bye bye.
Yeah, are we
Bye.
closing up? Are we,
Thank you.
Are we
Yeah, I guess
finishing
we should do
the-
an official,
yeah. Cool.
closing.
Yeah, sorry. I thought we were ending off.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were saying goodbye to James or if we actually say goodbye properly. But yeah, I guess this is probably a good time as ever to. We've been streaming
Happy
for nearly 6 hours, so.
Oh damn! Happy
Yeah,
Tackmas, everyone. Even though we had some technical difficulties, we had some wacky conversations and adventures with each other here.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we got to say thank you very much to the people who have been watching and typing in the chat because there's been some people there who've been very consistent with it.
Yeah, we've been
following
keeping,
us along the
and then
whole
people
time.
have been staying by with us. Even when we had to do a second stream, they came back. So yeah, we appreciate that, guys. We've got, what is it? 8, just over 8 hours left for the rest of Thack. So no, not 8 hours, no, 10 hours. Sorry. Sorry for making sorry for giving you all heart attacks then. But yeah. Yeah, you got just over 10 hours left. So very very excited to see what you all bring to the show, and yeah. See you later, guys.
All right.
That's it.
Bye.